We can't forget about what we'll do when we don't know what happens in the end. But I do know one thing, I'll keep on learning and loving with Rogue. Okay, I was trying to throw it in there. What up, everybody? Okay, today we have the one and only. I see him talking in the back right now, but I can't hear him, and he can hear me, but I can't hear him. So today we get to talk and chat with Matthew, also known as the Holy Rogue on YouTube, or Holy Rogue. And here we are. Welcome,
hey.
Matthew. Hi.
Thank you. It's awesome to be here, man. It is an honor for me to be here with you. Absolutely.
Thank you. I feel the same. I literally was like, I really wanted to chat with you. I'll be working, and I like to go and put on any of the sort of ex-Scientologists, people who have been in the Sea Org, people who have been on staff, people who have gone through that world, the planet of Scientology, and then come out of it, because everybody's story is so important. Everybody's story has so many dots that connect for other people and ourselves, that help us heal and all of that.
I like that about planet Scientology. It's true. It's true. Getting right out of that universe. Yeah.
That's what it feels like. Doesn't it feel like that? You feel like
absolutely. Every footstep, every word, every action was in that world. And now it's not, it's fantastic.
Yeah. I'm trying to see if I can, guys, is it just me, or is the Holy Rogue's volume a little loud? I don't want you to touch anything.
It might be my voice. I don't know.
Welcome to my life. Let us know in the chat, guys, if the volume's fine. If it is, then we'll keep going.
How's
okay, good. Volume's good.
The glasses, are they glaring too much, or?
Yeah, you're gonna have to take those off.
Right.
I'm just kidding. No. No, you look amazing. And
thank you.
Yeah, I'm very excited to talk. I'm excited to talk to you because, like I said, a lot of people, I go to work and I always put the, ex-Scientologists, ex-Sea Org members, like, channels on speed and a half or whatever.
Sure.
And just to, because I really want to get the stories. And I loved watching you try to explain different parts of your life and story. And I loved, first of all, the information I was hearing about, mental illness and learning from all of that. I really want to talk about that.
That's cool.
But just that, wow, I get to see somebody that has come out from their planet of Scientology, and you're just so open and honest and just very humble. And I need that in my life. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to pick his brain a little bit.
I really appreciate that. And I'm all yours. Let's go.
I'm all yours.
Let's have some fun here.
So, okay. So first,
answer questions from people when it's time.
Yes, exactly. And I have some beautiful moderators in the.
Oh, very nice.
Yep. So mods, if you want to chat, if you want to start any questions, that would be awesome, because I'm sure they'll come up as me and Matthew talk about this. I like calling you Matthew, the Holy Rogue.
I like it too. It's cool.
So your handle on YouTube is at the Holy Rogue, right?
Yes.
Okay, good. I was making sure, because it just says Holy Rogue on your title.
I changed. I got the out of there just because it was longer. I was like, I'll put 2 words in there. But
No, it's good. And people can find you for my people that are my people, for the people in the chat, go to at the Holy Rogue and give Mr. Matthew here a follow, because even just being able to be in somebody's point of view, or the way that they're feeling or thinking, has a lot of reflection for people. Anybody, you don't even have to be ex-Scientologist. It's really nice to reflect on somebody else's life in a way that it just heals. You're able to see something in a different way, so that you're able to have another look or a view at something instead of being stuck in it.
Yeah, it's been helping me a lot get that view out. And I'm when I started talking, I was like, wow, kind of cringing and going like, but I just had to do it. I had to do it, and it felt right. And I was like, you know what? Just talk, man. Just talk. Who cares? Just face it and talk. Forget the
Yeah.
judgment.
Do you wonder, is it just everybody that goes on YouTube to talk, or do you think it specifically is it's like ex-Scientologists, like where the fuck do I start?
I think definitely ex-Scientologists are, concerned about coming out. Yeah, I would
That's
say so.
true.
I was scared about it, you know.
You were scared about it when you went on YouTube? Like even
Yeah,
when you
well,
were going on YouTube?
not going on YouTube, but actually when I was first commenting, I was like, "Oh shit, they got my name." Uh-oh, it just doesn't matter anymore. Just we should all come out of the woodwork and just fight. Come out of the woodwork and join together in this wonderful crusade. Like I feel like there's a lot of staff members out there who are watching this in some form or fashion, watching whatever,
Mhm.
and they're just quiet, and they probably relate to what I'm going through. A class 5 staff member, and yeah, hey, you're gonna catch me rambling just because I'm a little
That's
tired,
okay.
and
Nope,
yeah,
same with
it's all
me. Guess
good.
what?
It's all good.
And also, I love that about you. I like your rambles. A lot of my chat again. A lot of the people that know me in the chat and know I ramble and I go on, and I like that.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
fun to
Cool.
let the mind explain a story how
Right.
we went through it. So you say class 5. Can we tell the chat really quick what that is?
Yeah, no problem. Class 5 org is one who delivers up to the level of class 5 or clear in an organization. It's the highest level you can do in a building, in one of their churches. That's what you'll
In
see
training,
around
in terms of training, right?
training and delivery. They can
Okay.
deliver the clear. Yeah, they can deliver clear, and that's it. So after that, they,
A class 5
yep.
auditor. And basically you're not allowed. I know in Dianetics, a lot of people think that Dianetics originally L. Ron Hubbard was saying that you're supposed to be able to just read the book and go clear, right? You're supposed to audit.
Oh
You're supposed
yeah,
to,
yeah,
with
yeah,
a partner or whatever, a twin, you're supposed to be able to just go clear. But now all of a sudden, no more of that. You have to go pay money to go into an organization and get audited to
yeah,
become clear,
yeah.
and you can't do it without the credentials of being a class 5 trained auditor.
Right, right. And from there, they get sent to flag or wherever they get their flag gets their fodder from the class 5s. Some of them class 5s are probably not producing much at all, but
So did
but
you do what year? Sorry. And guys, he has talked a lot about this on his rants, on my rants on my channel. I do the same thing. But if you again go to his channel, you'll be able to put it on double speed if you need, or a speed and a half. It's so
yeah, for my
like,
videos, you got to go probably triple.
but it's great. I think it's great because it allowed me to watch you dissect
Yeah, cool.
your own life, and it's, I can't imagine, I can't tell you how much you feel like a brother to me. And my
Oh,
brother
nice, nice.
has been in, like, has gone through so much, and I don't even know how to help my brother anymore. And I
Hmm.
can't tell him, hey, you got to go get it, go to the psychiatrist or go get therapy or go, figure out what it is that is going on with you mentally. Like,
Hmm.
that
Hmm.
takes a lot. That takes a lot to dive in. And so when you say you went on YouTube, I go like, what do you mean by that? Like, because you're
Oh,
already
yeah.
diving in before you start talking about your story on YouTube. And so for the people who are doing it, I just give them so much praise, because it is so hard to take that step.
Yeah, it is. But
It
yeah,
feels
once it's
that way.
done, and you get that reception, and
There
we're
you go.
responsible. We're responsible for that reception, and you know, I got the good reception. I was like, wow, and I saw some good people doing interviews and talking out there. I was like, man, this is important. I gotta reach out, or I gotta talk.
Yeah.
And I think subconsciously, I don't know, like, I don't remember myself saying, I want to do this because of therapy, but it's very, very therapeutic. It's probably better than counseling because I'm
Yeah.
talking. Yeah. It's
Yeah,
so good.
I never thought I would be coming on YouTube being like, "Oh, this is therapeutic." No. But yet every time I go on, I'm like, "Oh my God, this has helped me.
Yeah.
You guys have helped me. Chat has helped me." You know, like, so yeah,
Yeah.
it's super therapeutic, especially again, the way that we were raised in Scientology. Anyway, anybody was raised in Scientology. Scientology teaches you to not to be able to numb your emotions, to cut off ignore
Oh,
them,
yeah.
shut
Yep.
them off, and you become really good at it that you
Yep.
don't even you're not even enjoying your own life in certain moments that are just normal human feelings or human concepts. You're just
Yeah.
you become a
It's pretty
hypnotized
sad.
robot.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
And you police your own thoughts, and which is ridiculous, and it's like foolish. Oh no, what I just thought might come up in session. I can't think that. Oh, any critical thought. Oh, I better not think that. I wasn't rampant in that, thank God, but that's what happens, especially if you're staff and you're getting auditing or sec checked or whatever.
Which is everybody. If you join
Yeah.
the Sea Org, you already have
No,
had
yeah.
a security check
Oh,
at
okay.
by that point. Yep, yep.
Hmm.
Yeah, like literally. So the security checking and the interrogation starts before you even. It starts actually when you take your first course. That's why when we protest all the time,
Mm.
you hear people say, "Don't give them your information." That's what we're talking about.
Yeah, yeah.
Don't write
Yeah.
your name on a check sheet. That's your real name. Don't do the course with
Yeah,
your
don't.
details because you're beginning
Sorry.
you by signing up. It's okay. You by signing up, the people watching by signing up on any course like that, you're actually beginning to give your information away. That's how it
Yeah,
starts.
yeah, and I still get mail. It's hilarious.
What
And
year? What year were you in? What were you? When were you at Flag?
I never went to Flag. No, I'm a class
Okay,
5 staff.
okay. So
That's
that's what I
it.
was going to say. So you never went to Flag. So you did
Nope.
all your training at the Class 5
I didn't. Yeah,
organization.
and what training? I was
Yeah,
just a
what
slave.
training?
That was just slave labor, man. That was
There's
slave
no
labor.
training. It's literally not training. You're being
Fucking
forced to act and be and do things that you really
yeah.
are not wanting to do.
The highest I got in the bridge for my 10+ years there was objectives, and shit. I don't even know if I've done any academy courses. I didn't do the
Wow.
student hat. You know,
Yeah.
you got to work all those hours, and then you got to go on course after. You're like, a
No.
lot of people do. Yeah, it
A
is
lot of
ridiculous.
course time was a lot of course time was people pretending to be looking up a word in the
Yeah,
dictionary and
yeah,
sleeping and
yeah,
like
right.
really sleeping because everybody's so deprived of sleep.
Yeah, even the class 5 staff who have their own apartment or have their own, they can go out, they have their freedom, but not really, not
So was
really.
mainly all of the training you did and then I guess the auditing and sec checking and all of that you
Yeah,
did was mainly where?
in Boston.
Okay,
But yeah,
Boston.
Boston, Mass. Yep, from 1996. So when I got in,
Wow.
the golden age of tech just started a month after I joined staff.
The golden age of tech.
But
Yeah.
dude, it was
So you
like,
were pumped. You were excited. You were
of
like,
course,
"Oh,
but
I'm joining
I was blown
staff
away.
with the new
Well, here's the
golden age
deal,
of tech."
right? If there's anyone who's listening who's considering Scientology, please don't. But I was going to say is it's when you walk in there, the best analogy I can come up with, it's and try to take it serious because it sounds funny, but it's like a live role playing game. So when you walk in, everybody's playing and they don't even know it. Everyone's playing, and the biggest convincer for me was seeing adults doing Scientology and taking it very seriously. Because I'd be like, "Is this place for
Interesting.
real?" And I'd see this sharp guy with a, you know, nice beard and everything. He's like, a Scientologist, and he's all serious about it. And then you see the staff running around, and you're like, wow, this shit must be real.
Right.
And
I've always said that there's definitely a group agreement, a group sort of acknowledgement of your behavior as a group. You make it like, oh, good, we're all doing this behavior. Oh, good, we're all acting well.
yeah, yeah. And it's like in the beginning that caught me and made me join staff pretty quick, you know, among other factors. But I was like,
So you came, was your family, just so chat knows, was your family or anybody in your family involved in it before you went on staff?
no, just me. I'm in my crazy shit.
It's just interesting to me. It's like people are like, how do people even get into Scientology? And it's like,
Well,
it's actually very easy.
it
It's
is. It's
very
very,
easy
very,
to get
it's
fucking
very
sucked into
easy.
Scientology. And that's why we keep saying, don't
Yeah.
don't take the course. Don't do it for a
Yeah.
connection. Don't do it for acting. These are the tools they use to get you in. So if you're
Right.
being pulled in to go somewhere in Scientology, you are already being manipulated. You are already
Yeah.
being you they already have more information on you than you need to be than they need. So
Well, hey, here's an example. Like my first day, I walk in there. I'm already kind of really puzzled what this place is. And I thought it was going to be an actual church. I had no idea.
I was going to say, so really quickly before
Yeah.
I
No
also
problem. No problem.
quote,
I got all the
stop,
time in the world.
interrupt.
My day
Yeah,
off.
okay, good. Okay, I'm like, me and Matthew got this.
Yeah.
I was going to say, really quickly, were you raised very religious?
No, I
Okay.
was raised the traditional Catholic from as a child to like, what was it, 14? You know, I did my catechism and all that shit. You know, I was not religious though. In the family, we never
And there
practiced
was
it.
and there was no pressure from your
No,
family
not at
at
all. Not at all. It was
no.
just, all right, go through the routine, you know.
And
Oh,
so you knew, just in going to school and all that, you knew obviously about religions and things like that, but you just were like, okay, I'm not really
yeah,
religious.
yeah. Well, I'll tell you this. That was my cat. So at I think it was 14. I'm trying to think of the pictures of mine. I remember getting out of that graduation of church, right? And yeah, it was a ceremony with a bunch of kids that you went to school with and shit. And I just looked at my mom as we walked out in the parking lot. I go, okay, mom, I'm not going to church anymore. I know. I don't know if I crushed her or I don't know what I did. I didn't think about it. I was just kind of like, yeah, mom, I'm done with that. Because to me, it didn't do anything, you know.
Yeah.
And it is all coming from my perspective, not to, you know,
Right.
insult anybody here.
Yeah.
And so it wasn't until maybe I was 16 where I started really thinking about God, thinking about what is life. Because like you can really go deep, man. I love it. I love
Yeah.
going deep. Like you could just peel, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what I would do. I couldn't help doing it. And
Was there something that specifically pulled you to want to, like, you know, get it, like, learn about God or whatever, like whatever that is? Was there something empty sort of that you were like trying to fill?
Yeah, I mean, when I look back in my life, you know,
Because you said you were 16, right? When you started
yeah,
to,
yeah.
okay.
When I started looking into spiritual stuff,
Yeah.
it's like I think the pull is just I don't know. Yeah, probably an emptiness. Yeah, an emptiness.
Trying to be like,
And
okay, what am I doing with my life? What's this
oh, I was
spiritual
always
thing?
like that. I was like, no clue. You got to understand that I have, you know, legit ADHD. I've got,
Let's
you
talk
know,
about that.
other.
This is a
Yeah,
huge thing. Let's talk about that. I mean, let's talk about all the stuff we're talking about, but
yeah,
that is
awesome.
definitely one of the things I want to talk about. We're talking about religion, and then we're talking about you were 16 and learning about, like, wanting to find God and whatever, right? And you weren't very controlled by your
No,
family with religion and
not at
all that.
all.
So you were a pretty
Not at
cool,
all.
free kid, right?
It was all me and never anything. You know, I might see my mother pray to Saint Anthony once in a while because that's she believed if you pray to Saint Anthony, you can
Mhm.
find the objects you lost, and
Oh,
it worked for her. You know, but
good,
hey,
good.
that's the only thing you'd see in the house.
Yeah.
You know, and you might see some rosary
Interesting.
beads in the car or something, you know, but
So it was never, yeah, again, it was never, but would she say like, "Oh, bless you," or things like
no,
that?
no, no.
Okay,
There
interesting.
was nothing in the
So
house,
I feel
nothing in
like
the
a
house.
parent in that aspect feels more like somebody enjoying what they believe and not putting it on somebody, right?
Yeah, I
It
feel
feels
like,
kind of
yeah,
like,
well, even today, I think that she's very content with what she knows. She's content with what she knows, but she keeps it to herself.
yeah. Bridges says Saint Anthony is a fixture in my house too.
Oh, hey, look at that. Yeah.
Okay, and so then you're getting into at any point, and sorry if I'm asking questions that are just like, oh, well, of course, Laura.
No, man, hey, ask whatever. Ask
Okay,
whatever. If I don't like it or whatever, I'll just say
just tell
sorry.
me.
Yeah,
Yeah, literally. I'm
but
like, okay, boom,
be
moving on.
candid. That's cool.
Yeah. I was gonna say, did you already know about mental health and like ADHD and things like that when you were
No,
16?
not in
Okay.
my generation. No, Gen
Okay.
Xers, we were right before it. Actually, I'm glad that I missed the beginning of the drugs because I know they've improved, you know, from the side effects because they were going on early stages, you know, and we've progressed to such a degree that these medicines, to me, work wonderful. And
Um, so
so I'm
when you were 16 in Boston,
no, well, Massachusetts, yeah,
Massachusetts,
Massachusetts, yep.
and you're you have the idea of religion and all this. You don't
Well,
know
I had this.
anything really.
Well, to be
I
more
mean, you kind
specific.
of know, like for me, I just didn't know anything about. I just was like,
Well,
oh,
well,
they
here's an
believe in God.
example. Like,
They're
yeah,
weird.
well, here's what more specific. You know, it's not like I was curious about religion. I was like, I felt a spirituality. You know, I was
Mhm.
curious without anyone else being curious around me. All my friends were not curious. If I mentioned God, they were like, whatever. It was just me.
Interesting.
Yeah, and
Interesting.
I was like, okay, so it was kind of lonely, but that was like my style too. I don't mind being lonely.
I
That's part
love
of,
that. I love that.
yeah,
I
yeah, it's
think
true.
I think a lot of people fear. That's a lot of people's fears in the world
Mm,
is being
yeah,
alone, dying alone,
well, yeah, yeah. Well,
not
having no
having a deep
friendship,
connection. Right.
that's sad, you know, but you don't
Yeah.
have to be with your friends. You know, you can have your own space,
Yeah.
you know, and I'm okay with just having a few friends. It's fine with me. But I did. I had my little group of friends, a little pack, you know, maybe 3 or 4 people, and it was cool. But none of them were into spirituality. And I wasn't into, like I said, religion. I was more like looking into other books. Like I was like, you know what, I'm going to start reading. And I
I
bought
just
some
love how
people.
you say that. You're like, I'm gonna start reading. Like there's this intelligent older you that's like kind of guiding you. And that's what's so interesting. Like I had that as well as a child being like, oh, I'll save that for when I'm older, as if I knew I was gonna need that later, but I did. Like it's just wild.
It's funny.
But yeah.
And so
So
some
you
of the people,
decided I'm gonna read.
yeah, yeah, I was like, you know, it's
I like
time.
books now. I'm gonna read.
I need, yeah. And I bought this pretty popular book, and it came out, I think, in '96 or so. People will remember it, I think, in the audience. The Celestine Prophecies, and that was like this big, you know, fun book. It was like a book like The Secret. I never read those,
Okay.
you know, but it was like one of those self-help kind of spiritual books that were popular.
Cool.
And when I read it at 16, I was like mystified. I was like, "Whoa!" Like this, you know, this is cool. You know, talk about synchronicity and this and that. And
Where did you get the book?
it was a pretty popular book at probably a Barnes and
So you
Noble or something.
okay, okay. You specifically were like, okay, cool, I'll get this. Let's see how
Yeah,
this is.
I
Okay.
must have seen it on a book stand. I must have. And
Kind of like how people just like saw Dianetics and they were like, oh, I'm
yeah,
just
right,
gonna pick this up and
right.
start reading it.
So I'm reading that. After I read that, I remember there was at the end of it, I think there was an advertisement of them doing a retreat or something like that. And I'm at that age, and I'm like, oh my god, could I do this? Could I actually go to this retreat? It sounds like a spiritual adventure, right?
Yeah.
Sounds like a great experience, but I never did. I'm glad. I never did. And I just kept on reading other stuff. like the Taoism, and the I Ching, if I'm pronouncing that right. That's like a philosophy that you use with sticks. Yeah, they're called yarrow sticks. And
Oh.
yeah, it was just a cool kind of Eastern philosophy that I felt was just really peaceful about. It didn't have all that control on you. And
Like, I was gonna comment on that. The freedom of being, I know this is gonna sound weird, but I want the freedom of being able to just go, I want to pick that book up and read it. That
yeah,
was
man.
never allowed as a child for me. Never.
Yeah, man.
Like,
It's really
no,
sad. I'm
everything
sorry.
was permission. You have to get,
Yep.
is that, are you reading that book? Is that your, are you on a check sheet? Are you on course? Is that part of your tip, which
You
was
know,
your
I
training
couldn't
for
imagine
Scientology?
that. My childhood was, I consider it blessed because I did grow up in a middle class. You know, I did have good meals, good food, good uh, just good protection overall. And what was my point? I don't know.
That you, well, that maybe it's in the difference in
Oh, so I can't imagine being like suppressed like that, like chained
yeah.
down. Oh my God. You're like that.
And listening to you and your story helped me realize things like that. Like, where I was
Oh,
like,
wow.
wow, I never was even given the option by my parents to believe in anything else.
Wow. Yeah.
Like, never. It was like, what are you doing? You shouldn't be reading that. You
Wow.
know? Like, even
Yeah.
if the book was around me, like, there was no Bible around me ever
Yeah.
at the end. Never. There
My
was
mom
no,
had one. That was it. Yeah.
I mean, but there was just there was nowhere for me to even go to the section in the library where it says religion. You know what I mean?
Really, really sad.
Yeah.
It is.
So to me, it makes me, it like saddens me a little, but it satisfies something where it
Mhm.
acknowledges, like, oh, that's why
Well, hey, you can
it's
look at it
harder for
now.
you to
Yeah.
scope, or it's harder for you to pick up a book and just read it because people around you have had many, many years and many, many times to have the free opportunity to just pick up a book and read it. Even in jail, it's not like you have to like get, you're
Yeah.
allowed to read whatever you want, right? And
Yeah.
it's like not in Scientology jail, not in the planet of Scientology, not when you're being trained as a class
Yeah.
5, you
No
know.
way. No way.
Okay, sorry, go ahead. So
It's fine. And just for no misconception, I don't know if you think I was being trained as an auditor. No, I wasn't. I was just a
you were
Div
just at
4.
the
I was
class
just
5.
yeah, I was just
Okay.
like the Purify C. I was in Div 6 all hands. You
So
know,
the
I was
Purify C, you were the Purify C. Don't you
yeah,
have to
God,
be
that was so
trained?
what a
Oh
nightmare.
god.
Yeah. Yeah, you get trained on that. Yeah. God, man. That shit
Nightmare.
was nightmare. It was a nightmare.
Let's talk, so I'll keep us on track, but
No problem.
let's talk about you were in 96. I mean, sorry, you were
Yeah.
in Boston in 96, and
Yep.
is that when you were training or whatever to become like the Purify C? I guess there's not much.
Oh yeah, yeah. I think I when I started, I just started off as a Div 6, new staff member, help out, and then the Purify C that was there at the time was going to flag, I think, and they wanted me to be there. They convinced me, and to
They
me
were
that was a
like, so
huge yeah,
you take over this post or this job
yeah.
while the guy goes to flag and gets securely trained.
Yeah, and I believe that is what it is. I might be mistaken as far as why it was vacant, but I think it was vacant because of that. And that was a hard step for me to leave my reality that I was in, but I did it. I was excited about being alone. I was 20 years old, and I got so I'm at my house, right? I might be skipping around a little bit, but right, I'm at
Yeah.
my house and I get a call from he was a Purify C, maybe it is him. I got a call from a staff member, and he told me look, I have a room vacant in our apartment that's under rent control, and you can have it, as when I go. But you just, or you just have to decide in 24 fucking hours. And that's
Sorry.
Scientology right there, right? But I'm just like, make it go right,
Make it go right, snap and pop.
So I don't know. I was thinking like, holy shit. And I don't know what I was going to do with my career, nothing. And so I remember going downstairs, go see my parents in the living room. They're watching TV or something. I was like, hey, guys, I got to tell you, I'm going to be moving, today. And we never had hardships. I had good parents. Sure, there's fucked up moments, but all in all, it was relatively good. And to me, to just say that, it's just, and my mother, who probably knew me more than I ever knew myself, she was just like, okay, all right. I found that to be very strange. Like, wow, my dad didn't say much, I don't think.
I just think because if I had a child like you and I could see, oh, look, they're thinking, like there's a brain in there, there's I'm going to read this book. I'm sure if I saw my kid just reading a book or something, I'd be like, fuck yeah, cool.
Yeah.
I'm not even worried about my kid. Like, obviously they got their head on their shoulders. I just love that. Sorry. Okay, go ahead.
No, thanks. So then, staff started. I did move in. It was awesome, by the way. I mean, my living experience in Boston as just an individual was very memorable. I was I could walk to Harvard Square. I could take the T to Harvard Square all the time. It was such a nice environment in the late 90s. It's such a cool style.
I went there recently, not recently, but I went there with Madame Gandhi. She went to Harvard, and I went on tour with her a long time ago.
Oh, that's cool.
Actually, we went on tour after, but I went there to do it's for a kids. It's called School of Rock or something like that. School of Rock of School, whatever, Rock School. and we were performing in front of like all these young, whatever, like kids and young children, like girls mainly. It was like a girls kind of Boston, whatever. But it was so like where she lived was, I helped her, like I just go in there and like clean her whole place. And I'm like, look, we're resetting. I love her so much. Anyways, she's the one still to this day, we're still besties. And she literally, she's the one loaning me the little yellow car while she's in London for like 6 months. So I'm like, I literally feel like I have a new car, but I don't. Although some people would like to think otherwise. So yeah, it's so cute. Boston was so sweet. The little cobblestones and like the greenery. If you go there,
I was like,
yeah, I felt like people who go to Harvard. This is why, because Boston's so pretty. Like,
excuse me, Lara, if you go there just for pleasure and you go there during the autumn, oh my God, you'll love it.
Yeah, it might have been around then when I went. It was
the autumn,
so beautiful.
in
oh my God, perfect weather.
So good.
Oh, in Massachusetts, yes, this will be fun.
So good. And
so you're there, and then you're
and I had right across the street from me, and you might recognize this because you're a musician. Right across the street was TT the Bears and the Middle East. Two really big music venues. It was a bar. There were bars and like indie rock places. It's fantastic, man. I can just go right across the street, have a drink, listen to some fucking music. It was awesome.
So during this time, you were at the or whatever, you were going.
I was living there and living in that apartment with like 4 other Scientologists. Everyone had their little room.
And they were all on staff at the org, or just regular on staff or not?
Yeah, they were all on staff. Yep.
Okay. So is this why you're saying you feel like you were kind of swayed into this situation? Like, oh, here's the room, just take over the post position?
Yeah. I actually got my memory.
But you were like, I did enjoy it. This is why I got stuck there.
I gotta say, it wasn't all horrible as far as, you're gonna see the good in things no matter if it's awful. Like, you're gonna, I don't know how to phrase it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
You gotta get the good out of it, even if there was a lot of shit.
right.
Um, so I actually remember the story. Um, little details. So what happened was there was a staff member who went to Flag to begin trained in the golden age of tech, and that room was available. It was a small little room, but the window right there was like blasting music from next door. So cool. And then it wasn't until a little bit later where a bigger room got opened up in that place. I got the biggest room. It had this huge window overlooking Cambridge. That was amazing. And you could see all the different people, all the diversity. It was really nice.
That's so cool.
Yeah. But that's
People
about.
watching. I could just see you sitting out your window, just people watching.
Oh, it's so good. uh, so yeah, I don't know where I was now.
So you were saying that you were telling me how you molded into the whole situation, like of taking over the
Oh yeah. So
place.
then, here I am, man. Now I'm on their boat, so to speak. Like I moved. You know, that's a big step. It's a lot of action, a lot of commitment. So I must be on staff. Like I can't just quit. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so when it started, you know, I'm all excited as a staff member, and they put me in this like danky room in the basement to cut some fucking promo, like one of those old fashioned like uh, paper cutters with a big ass lever.
Yeah, like yep.
Yeah, old
Yep.
school.
That
And
was
I had to cut these
standard.
Dianetics tickets, right? And I
Yeah.
was like, I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? In my head, I'm like, I thought, you know, this is weird, man. Anyway, staff meetings were kind of like,
They call you an expediter when you first start it. When you
yeah,
first
that's
start
the
starting a
word.
job,
That's
and
the word.
basically an expediter in the Sea Org Scientology realm is somebody who's there to just assist and help out. But what they're doing is they're learning, like they're literally beginning the organizational grooming of how everything runs and looks, and this
Yep.
is who you say sir to, and you got to do this quick and fast. So by watching somebody else do it, you then learn how to be like, that's just how. There's no like standard or book on every single detail, which L. Ron Hubbard does as specific things, but it's more just about, well, this is how this is the energy of the Sea Org, or this is the energy of being on staff. So you just
Yeah.
mimic, and because the whole group's doing it, you have that group agreement where it's normal.
Yep. That's right. Exactly. Role playing game.
Yeah, exactly. There you go again. Yeah.
Yeah. Take their role of whatever hat they have. That's
Mhm.
your character. Okay, perform their actions. You can have your own personality, but not really. You know.
Exactly. I not really. I wasn't allowed. I tried many a times to have my own personality,
On
and now
staff,
it's
you
coming
could
out.
to a degree. Yeah, on staff, you could to a degree.
Yeah.
You
Okay.
know.
So you're on staff. You're listening to these. You're in this beautiful place, and you're listening to band and music and stuff coming from across the
Oh
street.
yeah.
And so
Yeah.
you feel pretty good, but
Yep.
so you're doing your expediting job, and you're cutting these Dianetics tickets.
Yeah. Yeah. So it was like these yellow, cheap ass printed Dianetics tickets, and like I had to make a stack, and you know I got shown how to do it by this kind lady who's probably like when I look back, she had as much struggle as I did, or worse. But it's just nice, and no, this is what you do, and I'm just like, what the, looking around, this is like a danky place.
Yeah.
It was like weird as fuck.
So
I
how
was like,
long are you cutting these tickets for?
I would say probably just a half hour, and then I brought him back to her, and okay, now maybe I handed him out. I'm not sure,
Okay. So I
but
was
that
gonna
shit
say,
was
so the
nerve
next
wracking.
thing, yeah, the next thing is because it has to be, you're not allowed to like give a ticket out where the edge of the flyer is like cut like at an
Oh,
angle, or
oh
like
yeah,
it's
dude,
so out PR. They're all about
exactly,
PR.
all about it. Remember what he says: the public know you by your mast. It's like not a true statement.
Yeah.
And I know people by their actions. I don't judge people by their mess. You know?
Yeah, matter, energy, space,
Yeah.
time.
You know,
Mess
they're
is like
buildings. They're
physical
buildings,
objects.
the material things.
Right.
And
You know what did he does L. Ron Hubbard say that? You know
yeah,
people by their mess? That's so
yeah,
disgusting. He's
yeah,
literally saying you judge a book by its cover.
yeah. There's it's a common policy that we got as staff members all the
I
time because we
never
had
that's so weird. It probably was normal for me. I'm like, yeah, look, his mess is
to.
out of control. He's the DB, degraded being.
Yeah, right. But
Yeah.
the public will know you by your mess or something like that. And so that was like a big policy we'd use to do like an all hands cleaning or something. Okay, let's
Right.
clean. We need income. Okay, let's clean.
CSP was our word. CSP, what does it stand for?
I don't
Cruise
know.
ship program or something like that. And it basically is just cleaning the ship, cleaning the docks, whatever. So then they called CSP for any Sea organization, especially with the cadet org. We used to call the time that the parents, the 2 hours that the parents would come from Gold Base, Hemet, to 15 minutes away to where the kids were at the ranch. We only had 2 hours to be with them and see them. So it was very like, we're doing this, go, back to post, do this. Oh, finish our cleaning stations quick. Oh, we used to call it free time. And then they said that was out PR. That was out PR for, I guess, child services or whoever was coming on to the ranch to check on the children. And we were saying, well, we do that during free time.
Damn.
And they're like, well, so when it's not free time, what are you doing? Oh, we're back on course. We're on schedule. We're doing the next thing. So it was an out PR word to say free time.
How many
as
hours?
time off.
How much
Like you're a
time do they have?
slave and you're calling it free. Now you have time to be free, which was literally what was happening.
Yeah, you get a half hour. How much would you? That's nuts, man.
Yeah, we would say, oh yeah, Sunday mornings. We would say Sunday mornings they would come, but really it was 10 o'clock. The bus shows up, and that's if your parents had done their cleaning stations at their berthings, their dorms, and they were approved that they could go on the one bus run that went from the apartments to the int ranch. So it was just like literally the time with our parents was less than 2 hours. So it just there was no concept of the outside world. There's no religions. There's no thing. There was no mother of an open heart of being like, hey, just go and do. Oh, she looks like she's having fun at that. Go ahead. Everything was so controlled, and we also just thought that this was normal. And like you said, when you go to cut up the Dianetics things, you're just going like, what the fuck am I doing? Am I being a weirdo? And then as you're doing it, you're like, I guess this is where we hand out the flyers to get people into the organization to promote. So there's some reasonable it's very hypnotic. They keep you in that hypnotic state.
Yeah, I've worked since I was 16, right? So I was always at a job and wanted to do good or be productive. So when I start that job, I'm like, oh, okay, I'll just do what they say. Let me cut these fucking flyers, and they,
I'm a good worker.
Yeah, all right, I'm excited. Like, what's next?
Yeah,
and I can tell you, I said it in one of my videos, but I think it's a funny story. When I first body routed the very first time.
Yeah.
Holy fuck! All right, so I got to stand in front of the building, and it's a cool archaic looking castle thing, and org at the time. So I'm standing there with a clipboard, and this is like in '96. I'm 20, and I got a clipboard with that fucking graph, the stress test, and they tell me what to do. We drilled it, and all that. So I stand out by myself, and there's a guy who's jogging. He's like a college kid or something. And he trips a little bit down the street. Like he like stumbles, right? And I was like, hey, look out, dude, the guy shoved me so hard on my ass. I was like stunned. I was like, what the fuck? Dude. And I got this antagonism right away, you know, because we were next to colleges, all kinds of people, and they didn't like us. Yeah, we're next to dormitories and stuff, and that was a hard experience. I don't know why I didn't just leave, you know. But I stuck around. I stuck because I was always like, oh, well, I'm on a
Don't you
spiritual
feel,
quest.
but when that I'm on a spiritual quest, but don't you feel that you also did something wrong? Like you,
Yeah, dude.
sorry,
I was like,
I just,
fuck, it is funny. It's funny as hell.
you're just like, excuse me,
No,
how
dude.
come the
I
tech didn't
fell.
work?
Yeah, I fucking
Like,
fell on my ass. Like, holy shit.
and then your senior comes and is like, flunk,
No,
flunk.
senior didn't come. No, yeah.
You're
I
just
think I
sitting.
stayed out there and kind of was really intimidated and was just like, fuck
Oh
this.
my
Like, I'm just gonna stand here and pretend. And then I think I finally went back in or something. I don't know. But that was messed up. So funny.
Oh my God. Yeah, and then the other thing is this that I feel that you're always like, oh, if you mess up on any job or post, you're like, oh shit. You're like, oh, nobody
Oh.
saw that. Okay, good. I'm not gonna do that again.
until it comes up in session.
Yeah, and then you're like, what happened? Well, I fell.
Yeah. Fuck, man. And with me being schizo, right?
So
They'd go
funny.
earlier similar, and I'd fucking come up with some shit. Fucking whole track shit. Fucking oh, dude.
Just because you get this guy the Dynetics flyer that you chopped in this tiny fucking room.
Yeah,
Body
right?
route, get him in there, go. Oh my God. And what were you trying to do? You're just trying to get him in to like watch the film or something?
Yeah, well, you know, you'd have the clipboard with the graph on it, the OCA, the test, and you'd be like, hey, you know, look at this. This could be you. You know, who knows? You know, the whole
Like,
pattern, the whole pattern they do. You know,
yeah, there's like a whole drill. They literally they call it the sales pitch. This is
yeah, we
or this.
practiced the shit out of it, and you know, it's funny. I was actually good at body writing later, but then I had my days where I'm just like, fuck, no way. You know, I'd have my ups and downs, like bipolar. You know, I'd be like all gung ho and fucking manic about it, and then like next day I'm just like fucking depressed. Like, standing outside for 4 hours. I was like, this is my fucking day, really. You know.
Oh my God. It's
know
just
what's
so funny
funny
because when we're out protesting, I'm hoping to catch a Sea Org member just like not in their manic mode, you know,
yeah,
where
right,
I'm like, oh, good, get them on that chemical cell where they're gonna really get it. Oh my God.
Yeah, it'll crack that egg, you know.
It's
It'll
really
crack.
not funny. You're like, I'm unmedicated. Okay,
I,
so yeah, let's
I
talk
can laugh
about that.
about it now, sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. We can. It's that this is the therapy of it all, guys.
Yeah, for real.
So so you're at the org cutting, just kidding. I keep going back to the
Okay,
Dynetics.
no, cool, man. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, I know.
The
It's
big
fun.
cutter.
It was hard
36,
too. Like I had,
37. Yeah, it's like
it
a
was kind of
rusty.
hard to do. I was like, like, and like sometimes it would come out crooked, and you're like, fuck, you know, because
Now you just wasted the org and the org. Is that coming out of your paycheck?
oh my God.
How much pay did you get?
Oh, it was bad, dude. Okay. Really bad. The people who have never been in, or imagine this. You're working not 40 hours, you're working at least 50, if not 60. And you get your check and you go downstairs in a line and everyone's gonna get cash in an envelope. And dude, you got like $13.72.
So staff gets cash in an envelope?
Yeah.
Okay, is
Yeah.
that based on what the org made or something?
Oh yeah, they do their shit per policy. And you know, they split it and fucking who gets what piece of the pie, you know. And you know, the higher execs get more. I don't know how much more. But anyway, dude, imagine getting like $13 for the whole week. And you're like, what the fuck? What do you want me to do?
I mean, you didn't,
Like,
you got knocked down and
dude,
then you were cutting Dynetics flyers. So, I mean, what do you do? Why do you think you deserve so much?
It was nuts. And I was just like, they know how to handle that, like HCO, they know how to go like, oh, here's a new staff member talking about pay. They've done it 1,000 times handling staff,
Yeah, and so they make you feel weird and bad
Yeah.
about the money too.
So
Like,
I'm like, oh,
if you're
okay.
not getting paid, it's your fault. You better bring more people into the org.
Yeah, I'm just okay,
Okay, so
but I
take your
fucking hated it,
$13.
you know, and how am I going to survive? So, you talk to the other staff and they're all into it and manic about it. And you're like, okay, I got to do what they do. And, you're living in your rec controlled room. You're trying to, I live in off tuna and some fucking macaroni or something,
Ramen soup.
ramen. I loved actually English muffin sandwiches, tuna English muffin. That was like the bomb for me.
That sounds really good, but not
And
if that's your only option
it wasn't
of
much.
joy of food.
Yeah, I'd have my instant coffee. I
So
didn't
why
mind.
do we do this? Like,
It was
why are
yeah,
we in a room now cutting Dynetics flyers, realizing we're fucking being told what to do? This recruitment thing's uncomfortable. We're
yeah.
cutting the things. We're getting paid
Why are
$13
we
in
doing
cash.
it?
Like, that's what I'm like. What is the
Y-
drive in us that like
Yeah,
is it
let's take
partially
a look.
hypnotic? Is that hypnotic?
Well,
Is it partially mental where your brain is being manipulated because you have ADHD or whatever and you have some unbalance and they're sort of aware of this. Like
oh
not
yeah.
aware of it.
When I look back, man, we had some people, staff or public, that definitely had autism or something, and yeah, they completely ignored. It's horrible. It's a bad way to
so
treat
it's
somebody.
super bad. Let's talk about this. There's so much they literally consider people with autism degraded beings. Like
It's so fucked up.
it's
Oh
so
my
fucked
god.
up. Like
It is. It is. And we had a
it is
guy who was like having almost like a panic attack. He was autistic, just because he had to write his OWs and he was being forced to. And like, dude, you don't do that to a person with autism. You just don't. They don't understand it. It's a psychiatric term and it's psychiatry. So they're liars and they're trying to kill you. So don't ever listen to them. Listen to us only. And you'll see these people trying to. I'll see Scientology parents. One in particular, I remember having their child, like early 20s maybe, to be on staff or to be involved to improve her autism. I'm just like, God damn, when I look back, it didn't work out. No. They think they can cure it with fucking TRs. And so they really do. They really do.
that's
And they did. Yeah.
and they won't literally let you on to the level. They won't let you on to your next level up the bridge until they are satisfied that literally your autism isn't going to affect them legally.
Maybe that's why I never fucking progressed because, I'd be in session and, dude, I'd go whole
I'm here to
track,
give you
dude.
your answers.
Yeah,
This is
dude.
why, Matthew.
That was so fucking funny. When I look back in the sessions I've had, the past lives, oh, crazy shit. We could talk about that sometime if ever you want.
Yeah, I
Fucking crazy
definitely do.
past lives.
I just don't want to piss my pants crying because this is our first interview, so I was gonna just maybe leave that.
It's all cool.
Because you're already just so funny because you're just so casual and humble, and I can't imagine you trying to deal with your own head and things going wrong. Like
Dude,
from an
all right.
outside, it's not funny, but it is because okay, it's actually fucking so fucked up. But
Yeah.
because I feel close with you to be able to talk about this, and obviously this is why we're here because we're
Yeah.
two people with this kind of energy where we are able to break it down, sadly, and be like,
Yeah.
this is why and how they made this shit reasonable. And then you look at it from the outside perspective and you go, this is so fucked up. This is so abusive for people that know a lot about mental health, about chemical imbalances, about trauma
It
connected with
is
it.
abuse.
It's
And if
such
I was wondering, imagine a group being formed. Just let's use our imaginations. So imagine a group was formed that addressed the Scientology's mental abuse, mental neglect.
Right.
So, you know, imagine, maybe there is a group there. I don't even know, but imagine calling out the people who do have a condition like autism and stuff, and saying, look at the abuse you're doing, you know, and somehow doing something about it. But it's tough. It's a tough area because the Scientologists will say they don't have anything, or they'll just deny it, or, you know, the person who does have the condition probably won't consent to that because they'll be told what they think it is. Oh, it's just an engram down your fucking hole track. Oh, you pulled it in because last lifetime you were a fucking murderer. You know, who knows, man? All this made up bullshit to an innocent person. You know, it just has a different circuitry. And it's really sad.
I literally have the list from T Perth Audit. Hi T, if you're in the chat. That has all the names. Oh, sorry, you can't see.
It's okay. That's wild.
Like it literally, like it doesn't. These are just, and these are. I can't help but say these are all people who literally were neglected because of their mental health.
No way. That's an amazing fucking list.
These are all people who are no longer with us by unaliving themselves, or thinking that they did something in another life that they don't deserve to be here on this earth.
Wow. Wow. That's a great list. And it's actually
but what I was saying,
just publish some shit somehow. Like we'll get
yeah. Scott was saying that it would be really awesome to do, even for him to do. I was like, I can't edit all this. To get to just really show a face of all these people, just the amount of people that are just not here anymore. It needs to be. It can't. It's not enough anymore to just write their name on a list. Like no,
you know,
like
could you just do a website? Could you do a website where, you know, a simple website?
Yeah, for sure. But also, but so that people have the face. Exactly.
Yeah.
That's actually a good point. We could probably do that. And
do you have to get consent at all? Do you have to get consent from family or anything? I have no idea.
Well, the thing is all this is public information. A lot of this is public information because of deaths or whatever. And the thing is, Scientology like tries to cover up a lot of these deaths. They don't want people talking about this because this opens a freaking beehive of all kinds of crimes.
Man, of course, dude. Hey, I was there on staff when Liz Gale's brother died. And it was very hushed. Yeah, but it was very hushed. I just remember the hearing of the event, of like, you know, I'm not going to say what it was, but hearing of the event. And the DSA, the OSA, you know, they were just like, DSA is Department of Special Affairs. It's like the OSA in an org. And the DSA, I think, what is DSA's director, right?
Director of Special Affairs.
Yeah. I remember him briefing us and just kind of covering it up, you know, like giving us some fucking short story or something. And of course, I'm going to drink it all. I drank all that Kool-Aid. I was like, oh, yeah, okay. Those fucking SPs, those enemies who are, you know, creating these fake stories when it's the fucking truth, you know? And I believed all that shit. Yeah, because we're very close to MIT. We could see MIT from our org, like on the roof. Like we weren't far at all. I used to walk by MIT all the time from my apartment.
And they position themselves, the organizations, they position themselves near schools, near things to make themselves look legit, but also to recruit people.
Yeah.
And like yourself, you're an intelligent person. You've been curious about spirituality even since you were 16. And here you are at the freaking organization, like doing this and then taking it so far where you're, and I'm not putting this on you. I'm just saying where it was okayed and reasonable for somebody to just go, this is what happened and those SPs, and this is why this person
it was so fucking serious, man. You're in that staff meeting. Oh, we have a staff meeting. Okay, we have a briefing from the DSA. And he's a big fucking honcho, you know. He was an OT7. He's an OT8. I'm not, you know, there's so many names I want to drop, but I'm not gonna. But, you know, he was a fucking phony. They're all phonies. But he was like giving us that briefing. It was so serious, and you can't say any questions. You can't do anything, and you just, you know, you took it, you know, and he's speaking the truth. He's protecting Scientology. And then you realize like the level of danger that we're in, which is all fucking fake. That's another thing, a mind fuck. Like when you get, for those who are in Scientology, who are on staff maybe, you have so many perceived enemies that aren't really there. So many, like psychiatry is not your enemy. These people are not after you. They're not trying to suppress you, you know, and they put it there. And you believe it. Well, we're always being attacked. You know, we're freeing mankind with this little pinhole of hope, you know, a little wormhole to get out of here. And thanks for that asshole Hubbard. You know, he got us through. Anyway, you know, you can get really sucked into it, and it gets very serious. Yeah, I'll just say that. You know, you just believe what they say. It's like when you had IAS events, and we'd have some famous guys. What's his name? What was it? Pat and Annie Broker? Weren't they like were they IAS guys? I remember.
Yeah, Pat and Annie Broker were like long term. Have been like, even I believe when L. Ron Hubbard was around, and then the whole shift went, you know, to David Miscavige.
I might be messing up the name. Sorry, I don't want to confuse anybody.
No, but was it ASI or IAS?
Yeah, IAS, and you know, one guy looked Scottish, and the other guy, the woman looked whatever from New York.
Yeah,
but dude, when you go to your first IAS event, you're like, holy shit, like this shit is real, because everyone's playing their role in the role-playing game, and they don't even know it. And so when you see somebody taking it so serious, not just somebody, when you see a whole group, you can't help but say this must be real. And OT, what's that? And you find out it's the fucking mystical fucking answer, you know, and you're like, wow, you know. And then you get that, and see, Hubbard had a intense imagination, and he did create this role-playing game. You know, he did create this shit, and it's been going on for this long, and it's killed how many souls? It's pretty evil, man. And what was I saying? I mean, I'm just kind of ranting.
No, it's about the deaths, all the people and the deaths, and that it starts literally by having an autistic person forcing them to write up their OWs or forcing them to do TRs.
Yeah. Yeah,
and just killing them. Like, that's so insane.
I can't imagine. I have an autistic stepson, and I know well what it is, you know, and I actually get along with autism, you know. We chat, we fucking nerd out together, but but I understand them too, like when they need their space, you know. It's not like an issue, but I can't imagine treating an autistic person with just Scientology. It's got to be just devastating inside for them.
Yeah,
like
yeah, I mean, and they don't. Autism is not a thing in Scientology. They don't even mention that word.
It's a psych term.
It's a psych term. Literally,
yeah.
It's literally a psychiatric term. That it would be
fake,
like,
it's a fake psych term. Like, it's a fake disorder that the psych's made up in order to medicate you and fuck you up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, what? That is so nuts, man. That's so type 3, which is what L. Ron Hubbard uses.
And Amy was saying this needs to be reported to the, you know, the authorities, but this is what we're all doing, right? Like, even experiencing it and then getting it out of our mouths and explaining to people that it's not an option to even use psychiatry. That alone, you're not even allowed to use any form of psychiatry in Scientology whatsoever. That's like the devil.
I remember my first experience when someone that I liked and got along with, when I look back, he definitely had something. I get along with all of them. It's like a fucking magnet. It's like I'll go in any space and I'll just let it go right to him. And so I was friends with him, right? And he used to clean the Delphi school in that area at night, and we'd just talk shit. Anyway, I remember he was missing. Oh, he'd do CCHR all the time. This guy was a big CCHR guy. So I remember hearing, I was like, "Hey, where is he?" Hey, honey, I'm on YouTube. It's my daughter.
Oh,
she's amazing. She's great.
Tell her.
And
Auntie Lala.
And so I remember hearing that he went on psych drugs. I was like, holy shit. Like, that was just devastating to me. Because I thought, oh, his life's ruined because of the brainwashing of Scientology, because of the CCHR bullshit. And like, that's a real thing. Like, to any staff member listening to this, just, again, perceived enemies that aren't really there. And you're treating people bad who really don't need to be. They're good people. You know, it kind of reminds me of like homophobia, you know, or somebody who has a phobia against certain kind of people. You know, oh, psychiatry, no, just you got to stay away. It's a big phobia.
Yes, it is like that. It's very like, oh,
hey,
you might get, you know, you might get sick. It's almost like that. It's like, get away from me. It's like that degree, like, oh, how dare you?
Even I can't associate with that. Yeah, like, whew.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah, that's degrading. That's DB. That's like,
right.
That's,
you know,
like,
they might think of it as like, imagine you were a member of the KKK or something. You know, it's like, holy shit, you know, stay away from this fucker, you know? Or I don't know if I should have brought that up. I don't know if that's a bad word to use. It's an awful word to me.
No, yeah, no.
But you know, it really is. Like, you look at these people on psychiatric medications, and you're like, they're lost souls. You know, they're done.
When I was protesting, you know, not too long ago, last week, not too long ago, CCHR, they kept the older.
It was so good. It was so good.
Oh my god! And the older people coming out of the black building there.
Yeah, I was watching.
They kept telling me, did you just come out of the psych hospital? They kept saying that. They just said, are you what psychiatrist did you see, or who? Yeah. And I was like, what the fuck? I've literally never seen a psychiatrist.
Yeah, you're being lied to, Scientologists.
And that's the thing. And so I would just turn on to them like the same thing. I would be like, what did you do to pull me in? Why am I talking?
I love that. Huh? No, actually, I could see that.
People don't see it on the outside, but it's so impinging, because like you said, you only can get them in these certain
pockets. Okay, cool. It's cool. Be yourself, honey. It's all good.
The whole internet will see you if you get on the screen.
Yeah, she's gonna come on one day at some point.
Yeah.
You want to say hi?
Oh,
she says she's ugly. I don't think so.
No,
she's beautiful.
My God.
She's gorgeous.
Hi.
See? Aren't I lucky?
How are you? You're so talented. I love your art.
Keep
on going.
Thank you.
Oh man,
do you talk about
she's my guardian angel for real.
So, do you talk about the guy in the closet?
Yeah, I did that like in one of my first videos, but I'll bring that up.
Tell her.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
That's F up.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye. Mwah, she's so cute. Wow. You guys are absolute love. I can totally see your aura of love right when you're with each other.
For real.
So beautiful. So what's this story about the closet?
Oh man. I said this one. Oh yeah. See, I need her around because she reminds me of this stuff. Whenever I do a video, she's like, "Why didn't you talk about this?" I'm like, "Ah, shit, you know, I just." I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's good.
Yeah.
All right.
That's so cool. How precious.
So with the closet thing, right? I said this story earlier, I think in Natalie's interview back last year. So when I moved into that rent-controlled apartment, right?
Sorry.
That is cool.
We're going back to that. Oh God, what a luxurious life. Okay. The mix of the cult organization brainwashing mixed with the beautiful nature of Boston or Massachusetts and the bar and the music and being like, oh my God, I have my own space, my own
That was
room.
awesome, man. Yeah, I loved it. But you know, you had to balance it. But when I was off staff, like after a year, I quit staff. I was like, I can't fucking handle this. And I lived in that apartment. And I lived just working at Blockbuster Video, which was literally across the street from me. It was like luxury, man. It was luxury. It was so good.
So no, that's amazing. So did you have to start paying more money or something?
I think a little bit, not much.
When you got off staff or something?
Maybe a little bit.
Okay.
You know,
obviously not enough to get you out of there.
Yeah, I know. I was like, I love this. I have my freedom. I don't have to deal with the fucking staff meetings or bullshit.
Oh
you know,
God.
I loved it, man. It was like freedom. I had a job where I got some income and I could just go
and
do stuff.
How old were you like around this time?
20, 22. When I was, I remember I was in Blockbuster Video when Princess Diana died. And I remember my manager, freaking out about it. I was in Blockbuster Video. I was working at that time. So whatever year that was, I mean, whatever time.
I would have to literally look it up.
Yeah, I don't know. But
that's wild. And so you're
here's a closet
21-ish. You're in the closet kind of Scientologist because you're not on staff. But
no. Well, here's the deal, right?
Okay.
Sorry, I'm skipping around.
So it's okay. I'll keep your brain. I can see where your brain is going. I just can't handle my own.
So
closet.
I was when I first got into that apartment. It was fucking dirty, nasty, unkept. Unkept, like scummy floors, scummy bathroom. I didn't care for some fucking reason. I was just like, all right, I'm here, whatever.
It's just mess.
But here's the real problem that happened, though. There's a guy living in a small little closet with a curtain, with a drape for a door. And he was in his underwear. He was psychotic. He was having some kind of psychotic thing. And he was just shoveling ice cream in his mouth. And he was like acting weird, and I just kind of thought, when I look at it now, it could just be autistic going through some shit, but nobody can acknowledge the guy. So my impression was like, holy shit. Like, dude, there's a guy in his underwear, just underwear, and shoveling ice cream, living in a fucking little hole in the wall of the closet.
This is the thing. Scientology still has people like this in these apartments, these buildings that they own around Blue, and they are hiding elderly abuse. They are hiding people because they know if they were to now send them for medical help, it's too late.
Shit.
Somebody would literally be like, why hasn't this is long-term abuse, and the cult of Scientology would get in trouble for it. Somebody would have to be going to jail, or something would have to be stopping, like auditing or whatever it was. Wow. This is what they're doing. They are hiding because, again, just like you said, they don't even mention autism or any of that. They literally say you can audit it out. You can audit your gay out. You can audit your autism.
I remember that. I remember one person. Yeah.
You can fucking audit your soul out, literally.
The lady that killed herself.
Oh yeah.
It's so detrimental. Auditing is literally that's why I say Scientology kills. Auditing kills people. It literally you will literally make somebody go into a psychosis.
No, I didn't know that guy at all, honey. It's like No, he couldn't. He didn't talk. No, he just had a big fucking spoon and shoveling ice cream, a gallon in his hand, and just going nuts.
Like, that's insane. Like,
yeah, it was, man. It was. And I remember they had to handle me. I was just like, oh, holy shit. And they're like,
they had to
oh,
handle you.
This is, you know, blah, 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 blah. And they just kind of, you know, danced around it or explained it away. And, he's going to get picked up by his family, which he did. What I believe, family did take him and brought him somewhere. I have no idea, though. I know he left and went to a safer area or whatever the fuck that is.
Probably, yeah. That's just insane. So this guy had like this. How long was he was there for a while, like a few weeks?
No, he was there. I mean, when I arrived, he was there probably for like a week or a few days.
It's just insane. It's
insane. It was really insane.
That's total neglect, and that happens all the time.
Total neglect.
That's literally what you're seeing as a staff member walking into your apartment or like the piece of the room that you're going to be living in.
So nuts, man. Ooh. And it was it was a made room. It was a tiny it was like a square little closet.
Yeah, I've definitely lived in tiny little closets like that, and I made it my world, and I was like, whatever, at least I have this space to myself.
Yeah,
it felt like everything was taken of mine. Everything was shared by somebody. I had to get permission for something. I didn't have enough money for this. Like, so nothing was really mine except for being in the little closet that I just enjoyed in my
Laura, just to say in a new unit of time, just to kind of put a pun, is I'm so glad that you're free. So glad that you're free. You know, that it sounds like hell. And you know, you're here. It's fantastic. Like your work is great. I'm admiring you with sincerity. You know.
Not love bombing.
No. But you know,
that is so insane. Thank you. You know, and this is you say I'm free. I'm still. I'm. The more we do this, the more we talk, the more we get other people to talk, the more like stories and scenarios and things that these little slices of things are the things that are healing. They're like I said. There's sometimes you don't get therapy where you can really. And that's why I love that you're like, yeah, let's go down that. We should go down and like get really into that because I like doing that. That heals the brain for me. That heals my,
it does heals my perspective because I will have sometimes a backwards perspective of things. Like I'll think, oh, that person's thinking this. And that is related to schizophrenia. And it's a real thing. You actually perceive, oh, they're thinking this, where they might not be. And,
I feel bad. I feel bad for my brother. I feel not that I can just say he has schizophrenia or whatever, you know, but because he's literally never been diagnosed. He's just
how I did it actually.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, how did you? I feel bad because I feel like I don't have the patience for my brother, and I literally get emotional thinking about this because I don't have the tools or the patience or whatever it is to be able to help him, and to sit in the middle with him drains my energy like crazy.
I get that.
And so I feel bad because I feel like I'm neglecting him. And I feel bad that I am more aware of him on this issue and I don't know how to help him. And so, how did you exactly, but how did you, you literally, our brains from childhood was like psychiatry is the enemy. Medication is insane.
Shit, man.
Like, and so I guess it's two things.
Let me tell you how I did it because anyone else too, if this might help.
How old were you, if you don't mind?
Okay, this is an important factor of my story is that I didn't know of my diagnosis until my mid-40s.
Wow.
That found
gives
out
me
recently.
More hope for my brother. My brother is 43 now, or 42, 43.
All the knowledge is there. Like, you can go look it up. I just started.
It's very scary though. Like, I mean, not for me. And actually, it still is scary for me. I'm like, oh God, what is a psychiatrist? Are they going to force me to take the medication?
No,
you know what I mean?
don't.
It is scary.
They don't.
I know. but it is scary. And so it's very scary. My brother, and it's not just my brother, I know other people. My brother, I just have a perfect example because he's my brother and I care for him so much and I can't do anything about it. But he literally has the fear of going to a psychiatrist and just even getting a diagnosis.
Yep, I get
Let
it.
alone taking a medication that he thinks, oh my God, it's going to make me jump off a roof in 5 months because, you know how they say it. They say, oh yeah.
Of course. Yeah.
And so,
was your brother, your brother had, your brother had all that brainwashing. Yeah, of course.
Yeah. He was born into the Sea Org through, like he was born in Scientology in Canada, in Toronto.
Oh, wow. So here's what I did, and it obviously worked.
So you were mid-40s.
You have to be interested. Yeah, I was in mid-40s, man.
Okay.
And so here's how kind of the chain of events happened, where it's when my wife moved in before we were married. She moved in with her son, and she's from Puerto Rico. And when he moved in, I started seeing a person with autism, like, every day. I saw their characteristics. This is the first time I really observed it.
Did you feel uncomfortable?
No.
Oh, because
I was always welcoming. I was very welcoming to that.
Okay.
I had no problem with that.
I feel that people feel uncomfortable when they don't understand what autism is, or they don't have somebody around them that they love enough to go, oh, this is what it is.
Yeah, I think everybody should learn what it is. It's simple to learn about.
Yeah,
and you can always go deeper, but there's some simple basics. So, wasn't going to tell you how I started, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me see. So when he moved in, I was like, oh shit, I got some of those characteristics. And I was like, this might answer some of the fucking questions I got. Because I'm always introverted about shit.
Right.
It's just it's my nature. I'm always thinking like, oh, what's this? Yeah, why am I thinking this way? Why is my behavior this way? And so when I saw him in life, I said, I'm a lot like him in some aspects, particularly on hyper focusing, manicking about things, and also can fall into heavy depression. So I remember saying to my wife, hey, you know what? I kind of think like I might have autism. And I was excited because I saw a chance of getting an answer, and it felt right. Like I was interested in myself. And that's the number one thing.
Do you remember that conversation? Did you say it to your wife? Hey, I think I might have this. And what was her response when you said that? Do you remember? Was she just like, yeah, maybe?
Yeah, I think it was actually kind of like that. Or she was more like
acceptable.
She was like, okay, I don't know if you do, or taking a look at it. It's the first time I said it.
Okay.
And I pursued with it. I started studying about it, and you can get all this knowledge on the internet of the science of it, the science of autism. Oh, okay. Here's my honey. Come on.
You have autism, but definitely you have some ADHD.
Do you hear her?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
I had a bachelor's degree, so I could handle him.
For real.
You're an angel. Thank you.
She is.
Literally. Yes.
And so,
and I mean, you were also half Scientologist, so she was able to control you.
Yeah. So
then she said, I don't know if you have autism, but you may have ADHD or something.
Or something. Or something. And I knew I had something, and I got to know what it is because it's going to open up so many answers. And it was going into the realm of psychiatry, which was like, once, dangerous water. Now I didn't really have that. I was away. I was safe, and I was like, it's time to do it. And I called many places to get testing. I said, I'd like to do some testing for autism. I think I may have it. Yeah. And they just a lot of places didn't take the same insurance. So I was like, fuck. But I found one place. The testing was so cool. It was 4 hours long. And we're talking like detailed testing. Like, I can't really describe to give it justice, but you'd have patterns that you had to figure out. You had this and that. And to come and find out, I'm like per the test, I'm like in the upper 5 or whatever % of the seeing patterns, which is really cool. You get acknowledgement for what you do have.
Right.
But also,
so you're like, oh, you can see what I'm seeing? It's like
yeah,
that.
it's pretty cool.
Yeah. It's like being a ghost, somebody who can see
Yeah,
ghosts,
right,
nobody else, and you
right.
sound, you're like, I know I sound crazy because I would, if you couldn't see what I see, then I yeah.
It is pretty cool. But then you get the actual diagnosis, or rather, this guy's answer. This what would I say he was? I guess a psychologist. He wasn't a psychiatrist. And the psychologist who administered all that testing, the answer in there did say has ADHD, potentially has schizoid. Schizoid. I read that. This is in 2016, right? I remember the date. And I'm like, schizoid sounds fucking horrible. And I was like, what the fuck? In my head, I'm just thinking like schizoid. Like, I don't want to be like, hey man, I'm a schizoid, boing,
Oh
like,
my God, yeah.
So I was turned off a little bit because I was kind of hoping
You're like, what is that crazy thing right there?
Yeah,
I'm not that.
So schizoid, as I studied, schizoid is schizophrenia has 3 different No, I didn't. Yeah, I told her I didn't want to accept that. Yeah.
And then you were manic about being autistic.
Yeah, I was manic about being. Yeah, I was like, no, I got autism, man. I know I do, because that's cooler. That's not fucking schizoid. I feel like I have some boggly eyes. Like
Johnny.
So when you were,
I'm not insulting those who are actually schizoid.
No,
I'm laughing
it's
about
such a
myself.
relief.
Yeah,
it's such a relief. It's relieving, and I just laugh because it's hysteria for me. For people, first of all, I've never been diagnosed, so I can't imagine what would come up for me. I just don't know.
Oh, dude,
also,
you should do
I'm
it.
laughing for my brother too. Like, what would come up for him?
What? Honey?
you drive that lady crazy.
Oh, what, Linda? Oh, yeah, I'll talk about that later too. So let me try to finish this one. We have so many stories, man. We can talk like forever.
Yeah, no, we're definitely doing this again.
Yeah.
When you were in a manic attack.
So let me get into that. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so you saw on the paper.
So it said schizoid. I ignored the shit out of that, right? And I was like,
I see a whole paper, and your attention in your like ADHD is like focus.
Man.
What does that say?
So, dude, I find out. I look at it. I'm like, all right, let me confront what I got. Right.
Okay. Yeah.
And it's actually a first phase of schizophrenia. The schizoid, then there's schizotypal, and then there's schizophrenia. It's like a level of intensity.
Oh, is frenia kind of like like that's when it's like, whoa, a lot?
Yeah, well, schizophrenia has all the elements of schizophrenia, where schizoid has some of them. No,
that has similarity with autism.
Yeah, and the guy, the psychologist, did say, because I'd voiced my my concern about it, because when you think you got something, you really want it to get acknowledged. And I really thought I had autism. So I said, and then he says, no, actually, schizoid's very similar to autism. Okay. They're very, very similar. But he goes, no, you don't have it. But I was like, okay. So it took me a couple of years to actually start researching schizoid and schizophrenia.
Interesting.
When I started researching schizophrenia, and I was saying about the science of it, they are delineated, like if there's outlines of what it is. And so you can see those outlines when you read it. And you can see if you actually have them or not. Or even like get tested to see if you have them. And man, what a help. I read about schizophrenia. I'm like, they have strange fucking beliefs. They I don't know. I could go through a whole list. I don't need to right now. But anybody can research schizophrenia and just see, or anything, ADHD, that gets thrown around pretty loose.
Yeah,
But
I
when you start,
definitely throw that around.
yeah, but you know, when you research it, you'll see there's actually a delineation of why, you know, who has it. You know, if you're outside of that, you probably don't have it or
It's
have
still
something
so
else.
scary to me to accept researching or studying
It's fun, dude.
psychology,
You're gonna
psychiatry,
like
but it
it.
sounds
You're
so
gonna like
fun.
it,
Yeah, and I'm
dude.
like,
It
I
is.
still have a little bit of the
Ah,
Scientology where it's like,
oh,
you're
dude,
like,
time to fucking squash that shit.
thousands of years of implants. Am I going to be
Oh,
implanted again this
dude,
lifetime?
you get to be like, smoke a good doobie and be like, fuck you,
Uh,
Scientology, and just research some psychiatry. It's
yeah,
good. It's
psychiatry.
good.
That's the one.
And so
Interesting. So yeah,
then I find out, like, okay, honey, like I got to find out who I am, what I have. And because all throughout my life, I'm like, I was kind of odd in some ways. And this fucking answered it. I was like, wow, this actually really answers it. And so I contacted a psychiatrist, you know, with my wife's help, you know, and really cool dude. He saw my sheet with all my data, you know, and guy's trained.
your OCA test,
Yeah.
your OTA, your OCA graph test.
Yeah.
Were you above the line and below the line on certain
Oh,
points?
yeah. I was all over the place. No, so he
You
read
go
it.
see a real
And
psychiatrist.
I describe what's going on with me. My wife's with me, you know. I give him all the details because I want a fucking answer. I'm actually serious about it. I don't like this mystery.
Yeah.
And yeah, he tells me I have schizoaffective disorder, and it's bipolar type. Matter of fact, I knew I had that schizoaffective already by all the intense research I did. And schizoaffective is like if schizophrenia and bipolar had a child. You know, it's like when they're together and they kind of mesh, and you know they trigger off each other.
And is it biological?
I've been looking into that, so
Okay.
that helped a lot too. When you start looking at genes, which you can't look at as a Scientologist, genes are fucking bullshit. You know, we're just Hamburg. You know,
that's what I'm doing now today. Like, look, guys, I'm so stupid. I was like,
No, you're
Laura,
not.
what are you doing? I literally was like, I'm hiding my blood monitor thing. I don't want people to ask me questions. And I'm like, wait, well, I'm an open book anyways. What am I talking
it's
about?
all good. Yeah,
I
you
actually
know,
put it there so that I don't like hit it and knock out the needle.
that's
or
a smart thing to do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but also I was like, oh, good, I can hide it in my rocker band. But yeah, I'm learning like, oh, and when my doctor asked me things like about cancer and my mom having breast cancer.
Oh,
he
yeah,
specializes in breast cancer, and I was
so
like,
I can.
yeah, I was able to like, oh, that's a gene.
Yep.
He wanted to check my
Genes are
blood to make sure I
very.
don't have that the DNA for that cancer. It's
Genes
just
are
like,
very
wow.
real. Yeah, I find out my grandmother, and it comes, you know, it comes from a particular side of my family, but my grandmother, she had dementia when she got old. You know, you've seen people with dementia, right?
Yes, I have.
Yeah.
Yes, it's really sad.
Yeah, it
Sorry.
is.
Yeah, it's really sad.
And
It's the first thing that came out. I'm like, it's really sad.
It is. But hey, I told my wife if I ever get it, just put me in front of a TV with a big bag of weed and just, you know, big bunch of rolled joints and just say, take one. And I'll just be there, you know,
Happy as a
watching whatever I'm going to watch.
So
I say that jokingly, but hey, who knows?
No. But also I want to, has marijuana specifically helped you
Big time.
with the ADHD and the schizoid? Is that how you say it?
Well, actually, I have schizophrenia. I don't have schizoid.
Oh, so you've upgraded.
Yep. I upgraded to the level 3. The full realm. Not only that, it's rare. It's like fucking 2% of the population have schizoaffective disorder or something weird like that.
Wow, I appreciate this so much. I
I
just
love
can't.
it.
You're
I love
literally
it.
encouraging me, and your wife, you making me feel literally like there's a reason that Scientology, it's not just to have an enemy. You know, here I am screaming, CCHR is just a made up enemy or psychiatry is just for CCHR's front group for Scientology. And I'm realizing, no, it's more than that. It's literally like they took away tools that human beings have been researching for so long, and they fucking take these away from people in the Sea Organ and Scientology all the time.
Now, here's the funny thing is, I've been having I wouldn't say a hard time, like I'm like too stressed, but I've been having a hard time just recalling, or how do I phrase it? Evaluating how I am a victim of Scientology. It's probably because I am a heavy victim of it, and it's hard for me to see or acknowledge these certain things. But being denied.
And how many times are we not allowed to be a victim at all?
You can't.
And how many times are we not allowed to mention psychiatry and ever think that they're ever good? Even psychology, when you mention some therapy, they're like,
"Oh, you can't.
You're crossing the line there. Why don't you just go in session?" They're like, "Why are you getting therapy? Go in session instead."
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you'd be in ethics. You'd be in ethics.
100%.
Yeah,
Squirreling, major squirrels.
Yep.
Major squirrels.
So, where was I?
Squirreling ethics. Sorry.
Okay.
I'm rewinding my tape. We were talking about ADHD, obviously.
So the testing. I find out finally what I have, and man, it just handled everything. Like everything just made sense.
You said it handled everything. What did you do?
The diagnosis.
Okay, the diagnosis. Just knowing alone helped you.
Big time, because then you go, holy shit, I do see it. Wow, okay, that's why I acted that way. Oh, So here's another important part regarding medications. The first medication I took was for my ADHD. This is an important thing to document regarding my story.
Yeah.
And it's a good thing to it's a good advice probably for other people too. Is after that testing in 2016, with the ADHD, I did get a medication for that from a psychiatrist, and it was Adderall. I fucking loved it. It did make me do all these, like, I get shit done. I could stay really tunnel focused, but I have an addictive personality. So I kind of took a little bit too much. And I'm not talking crazy, but I just took a little bit more than I needed. But it fed my manics so bad. Now, this is before I knew I had schizophrenia. I'm just saying, okay, I'm going to treat my ADHD. But the thing is, that was like gasoline to my schizophrenia that's really there. Because I started having some real manics, like intense. Adderall fueled that for me.
Okay.
And I'm not saying it's a bad medication. I actually really enjoyed it. It helped me. But taking too much and getting into my schizophrenia with Adderall, I mean, nightmare stories. My wife and I will talk about it one day, maybe, but really bad.
I would love to talk with you and your wife about all the stories.
Oh,
and smoke a J with you, and I'm sure everybody else would do. Would
that'd be
love
great.
That too. It's so because we never had this open talk to be able to talk deeply about psychiatry actually being helpful.
Right.
And like really even talking about the brain as a chemical controlling the body is bad. Like the spirit
I got a grasp
everything.
Of that. I got a grasp of it. Yeah. And it really does help.
And I was going to say, I can't imagine the science and everything the research that's gone through to discover somebody that's like, oh, yes, Adderall can help this, ADHD, but what about with somebody? So is there some other medication that balances them both?
A psychiatrist is actually a pretty intelligent and skilled person. Like the one I have, he's like fucking brilliant. And he knows all that shit. He knows exactly how it works. He's been in many studies. He's got a great history. It's just like they know their fucking field. They're not a what do you call it? A fake science, you know? And because of the ADHD, I did the Adderall, but the Adderall did that, fueled that fire. And so I got off the Adderall. It took me like 9 months to get off that shit. Did it? I was just in bed. I was in bed the whole fucking time. Like when you get off Adderall, you crash. And I was taking like.
And did all of the ADHD sort of start to come back? Like, were you balancing it with something else or no?
No, I was crashed. I was in bed.
Wow.
I was out. I was in a severe depression, just fucking under the blanket. Like I was in my turtle shell. That was it, man. And my wife had patience with me, you know, and she got me through it. And now that's when I then said, okay, you know, enough of that. Let's try to find a medication that's actually right. And so when I did get my correct diagnosis, I started taking the medications that did work. And there were a couple others that I didn't like. It made me feel kind of like, you know, I don't know, icky or whatever. You didn't like it. Yeah. We all have a different chemistry, but it's like, you just tell them, dude. You're like, yeah, I don't like these. Oh, okay. Yeah, it's not like, well, you know, you have to because this is what the doctor says. No, not at all.
Yeah.
Not at all. You just get in touch with your doctor, your psychiatrist. And then he gave me the correct ones. And it's actually helped handle my, a little bit of, what's it called? Vertigo. I'd have a little vertigo sometimes. And it's funny, that medication helped me with vertigo.
And you can have a spectrum of, like an umbrella of different kinds of disorders.
Yeah.
And that's why Adderall was like poison for you.
Yeah, that's right. So like in the spectrum, autistic or whatever, the spectrum means like you have all these traits of a person. You know, you and I, everyone has these general traits.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody's different.
Yeah, exactly. But you take an autistic person, they're not all the same. You have some that have a very high skill in something, but then have a very low skill in communication or working. Where other autistic people can work very well, but they have another, you know, they get something else. So my spectrum, that medication spiked the wrong things. You know, it was not going to work. So, I think that's important for people to know, especially if they're thinking about psychiatric medication. It's not pressure.
It feels like that. Even hearing it, I'm like,
no.
Like if really, I was somebody that really, and I'm trying to give the, you know, ex-Scientology members a way to get relief from that.
Yeah, when I finally did it, I was like, yeah, it's nothing, man. You know,
it was like a switch.
Yeah, see, she knows more than I do on that because she sees me from the outside. Yeah, she says it's like a switch.
Yeah, it was evil Matthew versus crazy.
Dude, those are my like earlier stories when I was a fucking manic Catholic. I was on Adderall. Dude. Yeah, my wife has trauma from that.
Oh, well, at least his heart. At least Matthew, you got the heart. Like she's been there for you and everything, but you actually have a heart that she knows she can nurture because she knows your heart.
Right.
Like she's not sitting here feeding some narcissistic asshole. You know,
right.
So it's so worth it to her, and she loves it. And this is why it's so cute because it's so informative. I would love to have her for reals, even whenever she's ready, even for the next one. We would love that because it's really informative for people, to see two people you know, somebody from two different planets, literally. Like that's just what it feels like. Being in love and seeing the connection that you guys have. And a lot of people in the ex-Scientology community have never ever been in love ever before. They've never ever had a relationship.
Dude, I
and
got
that's
lucky,
so
let me tell
important.
you.
Yeah, no. I'm
lucky.
just saying, but it's you're lucky, but also you did the work, and that's what
Yeah.
happens. Like when you step out of your comfort zones and you go, okay, fine, I want to try to grow from this.
Yeah.
I think that's what's so
That's
amazing.
true.
Is
You
that
have
when
to be interested. You have to.
yeah, and your wife sees that in you. She sees, yes, I see, you know, yeah, of course I've played the piano and you haven't. So once you play, I like the way you carry your hands, you're like, she can tell that you can play piano well. You just need more time. And so it's so supportive and so loving. And it's magical
couldn't do it
to
without
see
her.
the outcome is that you have a good relationship. You have whatever medication you need so that you feel fine and beautiful. And your wife's like, oh my God, it's like a switch. And that's so beautiful because you're not trying. You're just enjoying now and learning. And it's so cool. I think that's you again as yourself going to just read a book because you want to about spirituality and somebody else wants to go do drugs or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, it's really cool. And it's cool. So inspiring for people that are watching. It's really inspiring. You've taught me already so much just because of your story and your relationship with your partner. It's just so like, it's so amazing for the world to see that if you are full of love and you want to enjoy life and do good for yourself, that this is a perfect example. It's not that you are perfect. It's that you're perfectly going through it.
Far from it.
And nobody's rushing. Yeah.
She's perfect to me.
I love that. That's literally perfect. Literally.
Yeah, I do believe God put us together. I really do. We have some stories. They're just really nice. And you know, it's
you're
like
going back into the God thing, so now I have to bring it up.
Oh,
since,
cool.
You know, we're talking about Scientology
I love talking
and
about
more.
That. Yeah.
Well, so where did you go? We talked about, you know, 16 years old, you know, you're going to you're figuring it all out. Then you're like, oh, I'm fine here. And then you dealt with the crap at the organization and really seeing like, oh, the whole, okay, once you're in, that's on staff, you know, you're just doing it, following the orders. Then at what point do you leave? Oh, so you left staff, but you're still living in the Scientology dorm.
Yes. And I
apartment.
have to say those were my highlights in my youth. Just, I don't know why. I think it was just that freedom, but I had very little of it, but I felt like I had a lot. I don't know. It was just such a new experience to be in a big city and to go anywhere you want from the T, you know, the train system. And, seeing all these college kids that was their age, you know, going in the genuine coffee houses, like not a chain. They had some fucking nice coffee houses, and go in there and just hang out, smoking cigs, you know, trying to strike up a conversation, and it was awesome. It was so great.
I love that. I had moments like that as well, like in being at the art share downtown LA. Like, even though it was like for many years just full of Scientologists and ex-Sea Org members, there's still a moment in the time where certain things taught me so many things that I know now. Like, but just being allowed, even though it was still in a community that wasn't a great organization or whatever, but having the community be able to sort of sit, relax, and then go off and try to explore and then come back to your community. It feels like that's where a lot of people also feel addicted in a sort of a group agreement mindset or religious, you know, everybody believes this way or this flow.
Let's face it, you know, like I'm not dissing religion. If you're religious, anybody, cool, man. You know, you have your perceptions, and I ain't gonna fuck with that. You know, I don't have every right to say anything.
Do you have this I feel is an opinion. Do you have no, I mean an opinion. No. I'm saying religion and spirituality, right?
Two different things.
You feel that they're two different things, where a lot of the world thinks that they're not.
Well, yeah, they just say the same thing. If you bring up the word, you know, Christian, automatically religion. You know, religion is a set way of living. It's a set way of rules. And I've seen it. I don't agree with it. I've seen all the abuse. All you need, honestly, is just to talk to God. That's it. Boom. And he'll lead you. He'll show you signs. That's from my perspective and my experiences. And that's it. You don't need all this other stuff unless you do like the disciplines and it does help you and it does give you a community. Like I am a social person, but I like a few friends. So if you have a big, you want a community, you want to go and meet other people who, believe in God like you, and they're nice people. They take care of their families and they have the same concerns you do. People love that community. So people love church in that way. But looking at it from the
and then they add the music and
yeah. I mean,
little addicting.
It's just not. It's not my cup of tea. I'll tell you, because I think just so deep. I don't mean to be like, oh, I'm so deep, right? But I do. I think really fucking deep, and I think the churches are being corrupted and all that stuff. I have my own opinions about that, and I just stay away from it. And I've learned to just have your own communication with God and be sincere about it. Don't have some fucking insincere shit. Like if you are really sincere, you're going to see some interesting things. That's what I did my series about when I was at 1 through 6. And I did recently was, I'm in
the middle.
Oh, that's cool.
That's when I have on double speed.
I just decided, I'm going to confront this. I think it's part of my bipolar too, where I do get really into stuff. I have a strong faith in it. And then somewhere down the road, I get into a depression, and then I snap out of it. I think that's what I went through. So I was really asking myself, is it just imagination? And I think that's an important question for anybody. I've discovered it's not. And I discovered it through pretty cool events in my life. It's like that Tom Petty song. I love Tom Petty. He has a song, Refugee, and he has a line which is really cool. And the way he delivers the line is just awesome. But he says, it's just one of those things you have to feel to be true. And I think it was so cool. And it's true. There's a lot of things that are real that we feel. There's a lot of things that are real that we perceive, but not just physically. And
when you said that, when you just said that, that's what I got already from you. That's what you taught me in this interview is I want to be more. Like if somebody had a broken arm, I wouldn't sit there being like, oh, look, your arm is broken, hitting them, And I feel like I'm doing that sometimes to my brother. If he's going through something, me, even though how he responds and how, like you taught me right now to be nicer and more patient a little bit with my brother, even if I'm not talking to him, like maybe feel a different way because his feeling, like if somebody's feeling like the world is coming down on them, that is a heavy feeling, no matter if it's real or not. Is he
able to, like, I don't know how paralyzing his condition is. Like, is he able to work a job?
For a couple hours or a day.
Okay. Good to know. Good to know. It gives me an idea of, how crippling it can be for people.
The idea though, I've seen this in him, the idea of having a job where he has to go and show up, that gets repetitive and he feels like he's in this controlled machine of,
well, I tell you how psychiatry can help him very easily.
Garrett, if you're watching, just
yeah.
Psychiatry can help.
Absolutely, man. I hate that voice of fucking what's his name?
David. Freaking David Pomerantz or
God damn, dude. Talk about cheesy.
Fucking
cheesiest shit I ever saw. Anyway,
every time the IAS events and all this, the monotone. It's a toned voice that's literally meant to hypnotize. It's meant to be.
Yeah, I agree.
Talk like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember doing call-in and having new people go to an event, they're probably like, what the fuck is this? It sounds like a game show, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Yeah.
where was I? Oh, yeah. So, you know, I'd say it's okay to get testing. It's gentle. It's not forceful.
Can
And you
it
have
be
to.
used against you? I feel like people need to know that. Can
Oh
it be
no, it's not
used
against
against
you.
you? What if
No.
they find out that, like, I don't know, what's like a worse thing where they're like, we're gonna have to actually, you know, have you on psychiatric hold or something. Like, could it
I
be?
mean, you gotta go in there frothing at the mouth, I guess. I don't know, right? But no, they're not gonna do that. They're not gonna do that.
Okay, I just want people to know that
Yeah,
are watching that, like, it's
there
not as
is
scary as it
the
feels.
Baker Act, which is a very important thing. You know, you see somebody who is going through something severe and they're gonna threaten their life or somebody else's, you know, you can Baker Act them. You can Baker Act yourself, I think. You can just bring yourself and say, dude, I'm really fucking unstable. And you just go in there. I've never done that myself. To me, that's a little scary, you know. You know, but if I have to, I would.
Mhm.
But what I'm going to try to say is that it's a gentle procedure. You just need to find areas around you that do testing. You want a diagnosis of what's true. You want a true diagnosis. You'll know if it's true because of its truth. You'll recognize it. You'll see it right away. You know, if someone's telling me I have a green and brown shirt on and I examine it, you know, you see what it really is. It's just like, you know, it's really, you know, gray and black. I hope that analogy was okay.
Yeah.
Kind of a lame analogy, but
No, no, no.
you're able
No.
to just
You're able to separate things and go, okay, if this is what they're saying, I'm not saying that, and vice
yeah,
versa.
like you'll see. Yeah, you know what? Like you're able to see the truth in it when it was never shown to you. Kind of like, no, take a look at this. Take a look at what schizophrenia is, and then you do look with your honest heart, and you look at it, and you say, "Shit, yeah, I do have those. I do have that. Let's talk about it." And you delve into it, and you get the truth about it, and you know you come to recognize, okay, there's nothing wrong with it. Today, man, we got the medications, we got the care, we got the awareness. It's pretty good, and I could just imagine some of the ex-Scientologists, or rather Scientologists, who are still in, looking at my video, going, "Oh my god, I can't believe this guy."
Like, look at them spending 30 minutes talking about psychiatry.
Oh my god, he's fucking
He's
done.
schizophrenic. Look at him. He's getting picked with the brain. They're picking his brain and smashing it.
That's all fear tactics, and it's a very gentle procedure. You're in control. You do your testing because you want a diagnosis, and you'll know if it's a good diagnosis or if it's true diagnosis just by examining what they have to say and voicing your concerns and everything. With that diagnosis, you can then get treatment from a psychiatrist. A psychiatrist is the only one who can give the medications, not a psychologist. So that's why it's in psychiatry. Psychiatry does study these chemicals and does study how they affect the chemicals of the brain and all that. It is real. It's like everything that Scientology said that psychiatry was lying about. It's actually pretty true. Like, yeah, we do have a bunch of chemicals, man. We have dopamine. We have all these things, and they can be influenced and
The
help
brain?
control.
I just think it's the brain. It's Sprack. It's Spracken. What do they say? Remember in the tech film, it'd be like,
Yeah.
Mr. Anderson, the psychiatrist, your attitude is not helping the situation. At this rate, you might die.
Is this the one where like they were showing the history of psychiatry?
Yeah.
So dumb,
But I
dude.
just remember that, Mr. Anderson, your attitude is not helping the situation. At this rate, you might die. No, and here I am being like, psychiatry it helps.
Yeah, it does, man. No,
It's so fucking contradictory, but that's the big lie right there. You just said it. Scientology is lying to us, lying to you about what help psychiatry actually does for people.
Now let's look at the other side, because if we're going to cover a topic, sometimes I like to cover the whole thing, right?
Yeah.
You have the honest concerns, or even the Scientologists watching that. Shit, I lost my thought. Hold on.
That psychiatries are over drugging children and da da da. Like you said, medication. You could even, I don't know if that's where you're going, but even
No,
you
it's okay.
said that you took your medication and then you started taking too much of it. It's easy to
Yeah, it is.
overdo. Yeah.
But it's easy to control it. If you just talk to your psychiatrist, it's nothing severe. You're not forced to do anything.
Yeah.
You can stop doing one if you want.
And
You
then the
don't.
other aspect, the other end of this is your information for reals, and it's going to be hard to hear, is confidential and
Yeah.
will not be used. And you're not
Right.
being put under a camera and spotlight and all
Yeah,
of that.
for real.
Like,
Yep.
I know that's a hard thing for people to understand, because that's all Scientology does, is you're on cameras all the time.
And you're not going to be creating delusions for yourself through that fucking cult.
And you're not going to have to fix it and do it alone by yourself.
Yeah.
You're not going to have to figure it out and get your TRs in and confront it.
And you know what? If you don't like the medication, you just don't do it. You say, hey, I don't really care for this. Okay, he might recommend another one. You might want to try it. If you do, all right, check it out. If you don't like it, tell him. There's no pressure. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
And that was a relief when
cool.
I did the whole procedure. I was just like, wow, that was easy. Like, this guy's really chill and cool. I did talk to him about Scientology. It's cool. He says he remembers hearing briefings about Thomas Zaz, who was a big anti-psychiatry guy.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people in CCHR or whatever know about Thomas Zaz. He was a big psychiatrist who went anti-psychiatry. And he would say, yeah, I remember him talking in briefings, and, all the psychiatrists are questioning him. And, it was interesting. He had a little connection to it.
They said that there was I talked to a few psychiatrists out from the CCHR protests.
Yeah.
And it was just cool, like, how it's interesting, because psychiatry is so big, like, it's internal, obviously, and Scientology has such like a judgmental opinion of them, and they literally are almost like, well, they're like, I know, right? They're protesting the psychiatrist, and then they're going like, almost like, we don't even have time for that. Like, and it's just like, wow, for Scientology, they're like, we're protesting the psychiatrist, we're doing the march, and they put all this bullshit promo and all this, and it's all just a delusion. Like, literally, you're putting somebody in a mental fucking delusion.
It is true, but here's an important point I lost track of. Here it was, let's acknowledge, or let's, I hate that fucking word now because I use it so much, right? Acknowledge. You get triggered just saying a fucking word.
Yeah.
But, let's see it that some of the things of psychiatry in its past were in its testing stages, we're in its evolution stages. Let's face it, everything takes its evolution of knowledge. And they were just finding out, discovering, and they did the best they could at that time. In the 50s, if you had, these issues, you'd probably get a lobotomy. Who knows? It's scary as fuck. But that ain't happening anymore. Like, it's evolved
I'm sure,
so much.
And they really pulled, the lobotomy. That's why I said they're going to pick your brain.
Yeah.
And that's when I'm coming out. These older, dedicated CCHR fucking gurus of Scientology, money. They're all money. They all are like, oh, she got her brain picked.
Yeah. It's crazy, man.
Yeah.
It's fucked up how they like to lie so easily. But I think it's more of they're just living that delusion.
Mm-hmm. The delusion.
They believe it's true, so they just say it. Like, oh, yeah, she's on psych drugs. She has to be. But she's psychotic or this or that.
Yeah, that's the only solution they have. I mean, that's their only thing that makes that answers.
So stay on staff. Stay on staff and get no auditing and get nothing and just fucking go through this hell. But don't go, don't get help, But we have the help, but Only when we have time to.
And not only they're saying, we have the help only when we have time to, but now we're attacking the group that actually is also helping people, like literally saving people from not doing horrible things to themselves. Like, and it's just so like, no, Scientology, you don't, what's your fucking excuse? You literally are, you're driving people to do this. You're literally driving them away from help. And then you're driving them into a belief that they pulled this in. They did this. This is all your fault. What is that going to make somebody do?
Yeah. It's horrible. It's horrible. Be cause over life.
Yeah. Confront it. Yeah. Write this, do this, read this. Imagine all the mental health, like the mentally disabled people in certain forms of their lives where they can't even read a book sitting in space in a certain spot for so long. And here they are spending fucking 6 months getting through the student hat because it just takes so long, because it feels so hard to read because you're not comprehending the information because it's fucking a lie.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
And you're trying to cope with your ADHD and everything else, but but that everybody also is lying to you about that you don't have, and it's just made up, and it's body thetans and audited off.
Yeah,
like
man.
That's what we're getting to. And you wonder why they say, oh, so and so unalive themselves. No, y'all killed her. CCHR, y'all killed her.
Yeah,
y'all killed them.
Whitney Mills burned herself probably because LRH said that we should be what is it? Cremated. He said, there's a reference. I don't know if you've ever seen it, where it's like you should burn your body.
It sounds familiar. Yeah, like it's and
like
my
you might get
mother,
stuck in your body,
my mom,
like
you don't want to get stuck in the body or the.
So I think that's why she did it. I think because she's OTA and she's like, oh, I have this data that I believe.
That's a really good point. Like, because she did that and then that didn't work or something. Yeah. Like,
how much fucking pain that is. I mean, come on.
To have to want to shoot yourself, you literally are. Yeah. You like.
Or maybe she lit herself on fire and then shot herself, and hoping the fire would disintegrate
burn the
body.
Thetans off.
Or burn the body off, whatever.
My mom used to always like my mom specifically would be like, yeah, and you know, when I drop my body, you know that I want to be burned and thrown into the sea, like in my ashes into the sea. And she had to explain to me what cremated was. And I was like, oh, and that came about because I freaked out when I went to my grandmother's funeral and I saw her body in the casket. I was like, what the fuck? That did something so weird to my mind. Like knowing about Thetans and spirits, and that I'm there with my mom, and like my brain didn't realize I didn't understand what open casket was. Like I
remember open
realize
caskets. I went to them ever since a kid. Yeah.
And
they're called wake.
It was weird for me to see a still body and know that there was. I'm sorry. And know that there was no spirit in there. I could I was literally like,
it looks hollow,
looking at my grandma's face, like, whoa, this is uncomfortable. She's not. Here.
And you see, like, not to make fun of anyone, but you see their lips glued. You see like a little piece.
I couldn't. My head wanted to go away and not look, and I couldn't stop looking.
Ah, man, you're like, oh shit.
And then I told my mom, I had to tell her I don't want to. I was like, this is too scary. And she said, okay. And she had to like kind of pull me away because my eyes were still looking. I don't even know how I looked. Probably my whole family was like, your daughter's making a really weird face. It was really crazy. Anyway, so it just made me feel so gross remembering that my mother would always say that, like, I want to be cremated because
it's an LRH reference.
Yeah, and it's like you don't even have to be OT3 or whatever to know about the body Thetans or whatever. They already are like, well, you're a Thetan and this is the body. So just burn the body, make sure so that nobody else can pick up that body.
Is that I never heard that. I never heard that.
You can take that. I used to literally try to like free people from the graves.
Wow, that's cool.
So I'd be like, it is okay to leave the body.
Dude,
you can leave your body. I just thought like, oh, maybe if I could get
wow.
any of the spirits to just go off and go
That's amazing.
out. Yeah,
No,
I just,
that's adorable. That's
and
actually
somebody
pretty
would be
cool.
like, what are you doing? And I would always be like, no, you have to. And I never said Scientology, but I would always say, I'm just telling them they're allowed to, like, sometimes there's these certain spells. I learned about spells and stuff. And there's certain words and spells that people hold to keep people inside of a body spiritually. And so I was like, oh, it was a mixture of like, yeah, that constant, my mom always being like, yeah, I'm gonna, let my ashes go in the dust, which I understand that concept. Like, I liked the idea of the body like being a part of Earth as it would have died anyways, without all the control. I don't know. Anyways,
well, burials I don't like burials. I like old school burials where like the body stayed there and it just decomposed and fucking, they didn't open up the space again, open up that lot again. That's fucked up. I didn't know they did that. It's like you'll have a grave site and after so much time, they actually reopen it and discard the skeleton or whatever. And they'll have that fucking lot open again. Yeah, it's fucking
I thought they
creepy.
only did that for like for investigating like deaths and stuff.
I found that out. I don't. If I'm wrong, that's cool. You can tell me I'm wrong. Like
no, but that's
no,
crazy
not you, but like anybody. But I was shocked with that. I was like, that's gross, man. Well, if you think about it, though, how else is a graveyard gonna make business, right? You gotta like circulate. You gotta open up the other. After so much time.
God.
It's so creepy. And
it's so weird. And like you have people like Michael Jackson who have these big grave, and it's apparently like his body isn't even in the grave or something.
Yeah, it's probably preserved on ice, Wait till they put an AI inside him and he's gonna start dancing again.
Oh my God. It's just but like it's really wild, like how much money, time, beliefs, energies go into a body. And when we have religion and spirituality, right, or things like this where the body is just sort of a vessel here on earth, and that are
sometimes I think like we're all just witnessing everything going on, and that somehow that's going to be addressed somehow later. I don't fucking know, but I feel like anybody just know like, hey, I'm witnessing the life around me and I'm witnessing these changes and I'm witnessing this fucked up shit. And protesting, it allows you to witness, I'll just leave it at that. It's kind of a random thought, but I think it's very interesting to think that what you see matters, even if no one's knowing you're seeing it, Like, I think sometimes it's hard to conceive at sometimes, but I do believe in the Holy Spirit. And I do think we're always being perceived. There's always a communication line. And is that true? Hey, I don't know. It's so fantastic. But, I feel it. I've seen it in my own way. Just want to share that, I guess.
No, I love that. That's so, and I feel like we only learn things about ourselves when we do go down these deep hole. And I feel like people are made to feel stupid or dumb, like nerdy or weird when you do. It's an immature thing, like, but they feel like it's not safe to go down a hole or safe to go down a path where it could teach them something uncomfortable about themselves.
Right. But you got to be willing.
Or comfortable I know.
You care for yourself. Say, hey, you know what? Yeah, I do know I have something. I want to get diagnosed so I'm not having a wrong diagnosis. Like you might be thinking, oh, I got this and you don't. Or,
like my brother talks about the, like he'll have a beer and stuff and hopefully I love my brother. I want him to literally just go get the right help because and I told him, I said, you've tried so many things. You've tried alcohol, you've tried this, why don't you try it? And it's such a scary thing because it's so programmed in a Scientology child's mind that psychiatry is so bad. And I don't know, but anyways, but now I just lost my train of thought. Brother. Oh yeah. It's literally like, what if you try this thing and everything becomes easier? That's where I was going to say. So my brother will have like a beer. He'll drink. He needs a beer or 2 or 3, you know, by midday or something to calm. He says he literally describes it as like taking off the pressure.
Yeah, it makes
like
sense.
Physical, mental pressure, because
I get that way with.
He says it slows his mind down or something.
I get that way with cannabis too. Like it's a great way to just de-stress, but it's safer. You know, alcohol is what's it called? Ethanol. You know, and it unfortunately harms our bodies. And
it's called ethanol. Is that what you said?
Ethanol.
I thought you said F it all, and I'm like, yeah, alcohol does make you go F it all.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with it. Nothing wrong with it. Like, I'm not saying I don't do it or anything.
But I'm wondering if that helped, like the medication that you and your path of learning about that, if it kind of took that, like, it also, like, does it make it more of a relief instead of like a feared thing?
It's more like when I got the right meds, I was like, wow, this is nice. And my wife saw it too. Yeah. It's like it
you're
made
able to function. Are you able to hold the job? Is that what you want to do? Yeah. Are you able to? Yeah, it's just interesting.
What I'm not able to do, which is a little embarrassing, is to sometimes push through in my own projects outside of work. I tend to just, go manic and find my safe place in playing video games or something, or sleeping or daydreaming, whatever. I know that's outside when I think about it. I know that's not the best thing. So there's things I need to do. I do struggle with that because I do have the condition. I do feel its effects. But it helps to tamper it. It helps to control it.
And like if you say, for example, like you're like, oh, I don't like, you don't really want to go out for a hike or something, but you should. And then when you do it, you feel good about it. Or you still feel annoyed that you did it?
Like if it builds up anxiety, if I'm like, I got this problem where I have to hike. I don't want to, and the problem's there and it fucking boils your blood a little and you're like, okay, I'll go do it. And you do it and the anxiety goes away. That's understandable. But there's times where your brain or your body will create those effects without there really needing to be anything to be nervous about. And that's when it gets delusional. You get these unwanted delusions, not from a belief, but just from an actuality. And I'm still grasping, like, tell me how you think about this. I don't know the correct answer, but a person with a condition, do they know they are? Do they know they are all the traits? Can they see everything they do? And I still kind of struggle with that. Like, am I still blind on some of my actions or my ways that everyone else sees, but I don't because I'm the one with it? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I feel like
it's a little not puzzling, but it's a good question.
I feel like some people also, if they do, like you say, if they do observe something in you or that you don't or whatever, they feel they adjust a little bit. I feel, in my perspective, I would adjust a little bit for somebody who might feel a little awkward or whatever. I adjust to what might feel natural to them.
And
I know, and so that they can feel.
That's good.
I don't know, whatever. And is that, I definitely,
as long as you're not compromising your own sanity, or you're not compromising yourself too much,
Right. And but I also see how people we all are healing, and I feel that I'm sensitive to it because I notice the person is healing or learning about, like,
well,
they're trying. They're like, hey, how can I be around other people in this state? Or
well, yeah, I mean, you're a pretty high level empath. I'd say that.
yeah,
You're a natural empath for sure, and you display it like, you know, amazingly, you know. And anyway, sorry, talk about.
no. I was just saying, like, it's interesting how society forms us in these ways where it's like you feel awkward when you aren't able to express how you feel. That
Yeah.
should feel
Well,
fucking
that's
awkward.
changing, and I love that
And
about
then,
our modern society. It's changing.
yeah, it is changing.
I
The
like that.
awkward, it's okay to now feel awkward,
Yeah,
because then
it's
people go,
okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
why are we making somebody feel awkward about feeling awkward?
Yeah, I grew up in the 80s as a kid, 90s, you know, I see the progression, and it's like, it's pretty nice to see where we're at now as far as understanding humans and treating them well. You know, the sociology, I love sociology, and this is how groups of people think and move, you know. And it's definitely for the better, man. Definitely. I think. Sure, there's things you can criticize, but we have to look at the good too. You know, this modern society has more awareness of autism, schizophrenia, mental illness, and has right treatments for it now, better treatments. Look at the LGBTQ plus; it's fantastic. You know, I feel for them, and I think what they do is fantastic. This is historic. You know, we're living through a very historic time, but it's also a progression of time. Like, we're evolving as a race. We're evolving as people.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can see that change, you know. And, you know, you saw the people going against it, you know, but it's fading away. I see that.
And also, I think, again, I'm relating to this to protesting. We see people go against what we say all the time. We see Scientologists and Sea Org members resent what we say all the time.
Oh, yeah.
But that's the first step, is they have to even fucking be aware that there's something that we're resenting.
Hey,
There's
you know what?
something that, you know, so
Yeah.
fine, feel something, because that is the first step.
And that shit's going to be in session.
Yeah.
Those impinging things that you yell and impinge with, because unfortunately impinge is a real word. Scientology abused that word, but it gets through, and it will be there. It will be a present time problem for them, and they try to thought police themselves. But in session, when it comes up, they got to say, yeah, this protester told me about OT3. Well, this guy told me what the clear cognition was, you know. And when that shit comes up, they have to look at it. They got to look at it.
That's the thing. I'm like, what other way am
they
I
have to run it through? They got to run it through into a floating needle, or go, you know, to the next step.
Yeah,
they have to. And that kind of protesting, I think, is wonderful. There's all kinds of protesting.
Yeah, and I'm definitely not reading any book on how to protest. I'm just doing it how we feel. Yeah,
that's right. That's the only. I think it's the best way.
Yeah, that's how I can, through learning to be able to have feelings and share them and feel them, is right now my only detector, sort of, where I'm able to be like, okay, this, if somebody was telling to me in this situation right here, I'm talking to this person, I see that they're getting it, this person's mad at me, but I see her listening. There are certain things that I'm like, no, this is how I'm going to do it, because I was in there. I was in that mind frame. I've had that abuse. I've had that ADHD neglect. So I know what torture they're doing, not only to themselves, but that they're programmed to put in every day, all the time, on themselves and to other people.
Right. I hear you say that to Sea Org members, and it's awesome. That shit is impinging.
Yeah. And nobody ever fucking was like, you're allowed, it's okay to leave the Sea Org.
Yeah.
That is a main thing I say a lot. Or where is David Miscavige spending all of your money?
Yep.
Because he's the one who approves it all.
Say,
and why are so many people dying in Narconon and CCHR, but those statistics are never shown?
Right. There's so many things. I could probably just get a notepad and just think of some good phrases of like what to impinge with. And
no, it's
I think
almost
that
like when you
t-shirt
go out there, you kind of get the vibe, the feel. And again, every person is their own brainwashed soul. Like everybody got in there in their own way. They all are hanging on.
They all
to
have their
something.
Bullshit they had to go through. That's still going through. You know, and their own suffering. They all have their own suffering. And man, what we're doing is just nature taking its course, man. We're like destroying this shit. This evil shit. You're doing a fantastic job. You're one of the top. You know, when I saw your CCHR video, like watching that live, I was like, I was happy, so happy because I'm like, I remember the opposite, where I'd be in this like on staff.
And you would be inside.
You'd be all pumped for the CCHR protest.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and you're all like nervous, you know, thinking all these like imagined enemies are out there. And just to reverse it with truth and to see you spearhead that, like, I thought it was fucking phenomenal, man. Like, you know, you spearheaded them.
They didn't get their march. They were supposed to march from the Black Building all the way around the corner to the psychiatry pop-up stand. And so their little PR shoot was going to be that. And they were like, there's no way we're going to get any audio or any visual, nothing. No,
amazing.
With my bright orange ass suit in front of all of their shots with my SP sign, there's no way.
It's awesome.
And all their negative, like they're trying to, and it's like, no, psychiatry kills. There would be no way. So me and Ashley straight up completely dissected that. We just
that's right. I got to acknowledge Ashley too. Yeah.
Ashley, oh my God, she's such a powerhouse. She does it her way. I do it my way. It's really great.
Cool.
Okay, so I'm gonna first just quickly go here and what were you gonna say? Go ahead. Yeah, I'm just showing
nothing. I was just kind of just thinking.
Ashley's a powerhouse. Thank you, Jen Hack. Gifted 1 Lara FM membership. I'm just going to run down these. Thank you guys so much. And gifted 5 Lara FM memberships.
Ooh,
Thank you, Lara. Did Lara's dog find Shelly yet? Well, we might have to send the fox on a little hunt and see what she can sniff out. We got to find.
Hey, take a moment. I'll be right back. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Boom. Hi guys. Thank you, AZ Crimson, for your one gifted membership, but I know you've gifted others, other memberships. So I know you probably have more than, let's say 10, 20 memberships. I'm a diabetic and use the glucose monitor. Oh, thank you. Yeah. Patches to cover. Yeah. I need to get these patches. They're like $220. I went to go to get my thing and the lady finally gave me a discount because I was like, oh, what? This is not how much I thought it was going to be. Anyways, long story longer. Each patch, you have to buy a box of them. Maybe I just was told a wrong thing by the pharmacist. But she said each patch, there's like 5 patches in a box or 15 in a box, and they're like expensive. So anyway, so I just need to go get them. I don't know why I'm talking about that. Okay, hi, back to the Holy Rogue. And this one is comment, you ran into a psychiatrist that was anti at the CCHR protest, didn't you, Lara? Yeah, so I talked to this guy outside and he was saying that he agreed with Scientology in the ways of like them over, you know, the medicating and the brainwash. I'm like, yeah, but I don't know, Amy M. I felt like
the reason I don't buy that, I mean, I can understand over medication. No, it makes sense. I get it. But it's easy to control. Like if you got it, you don't have to take it. You're not forced to.
Right.
You're not
That's a
like,
big fear that people have.
that's huge. Yeah. Like,
Us
oh my God, if
ex-Scientologists
they're going to
definitely have.
know and I'm going to be known as crazy or blah, blah, blah. It's not true.
What did you
Not
say?
true.
Googly eyes.
Yeah. Schizoid.
Schizoid. Well, there's Matthew. We couldn't find him. Oh, there he is.
Yep.
Big
Oh,
sign.
so let me see. I thought of something while
And
I
then
was
I
out.
ruined it. Sorry.
No, you didn't ruin anything, but I forgot it.
CCHR. You're talking about.
Shit. Anyway, it'll come up. Don't worry.
Yeah.
It'll float back
Oh,
up.
the fake. Oh, you said you're skeptical of the psychiatrists that came. We were talking about the anti-psychiatrists and that they do.
Oh, all I wanted to say was that it's easy to control. That's just a fear they put there. Some psychiatrists have seen that. I'm not going to say they haven't. I think it's foolish to just say, oh, they're lying because they're against what I do. You can listen to them. And maybe they have experienced that. But as a parent, or as a individual, all you got to do is pay attention to yourself and just say, I'm not into this one. It doesn't make me feel right in certain areas, whatever. Don't have to do it. Like I've done like 2 or 3 before the ones I do now. And the ones I do now, I've been doing for like 2 years. And it's been the same. And it's been great.
That's so good. And that's
so, yeah.
what I mean. Like,
There's
I feel
no fear
like
in that.
if something was going on that was bad, you would be able to say, yeah, this happened, and then I didn't
that's
like
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're not shoving it down you like, hey, they're not.
Yeah, in Scientology, you don't have a choice. They don't like give it's this, and you must do this. There's no other way around it. You do not associate with psychiatry. No squirreling. It's that whole vibe. So they don't give you that choice. So it's scary to be like, wait, I have a choice. Am I going to make the wrong one? Am I going to overdose myself with these medications?
And go with a friend. Go with a friend too if you want. I just call the place ahead of time and find out. Say, do I do testing for mental health, mental conditions? If you've done research trying to figure it out yourself, you might be close to something like, hey, I think I have this. Get it verified. They have testing to do it. It's not just a question answer thing. Like it's detailed testing, which I loved. I loved it. And
that's a great perspective to hear somebody who's literally saying, I loved doing it. Like I loved going through it and
seriously, the
figuring it
testing
out.
was so cool. Oh, I'm going to tell you something freaky. I don't know if this guy was saying this just to mess with me, like a test, but the psychologist, when I did my testing, his name was Matthew, and he had the exact birth date and year. I was like, that's synchronicity right there.
Whoa.
Yeah, I'm like,
or
I don't know if he was doing it to test me, like, how's he going to react,
Yeah,
I'm like, that's fucking wild.
That is wild.
No, he was sincere about it, yeah. He's the same birthday, same year, same name. That to me is synchronistic.
Yeah.
Like, it's cool.
That is cool. Ding, lines up. Fun. I love random fun things like that. And it also allows your mind and your to allow like, oh, it can be how it is, and it doesn't have to be a solution or an answer to something. It can just be like, oh, look at that synchronicity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and who knows if that's part of your ADHD, whatever. It doesn't matter. It's just now we're
at times it's like, yeah, that's fucking spiritual. At times, like,
yes,
definitely. But some others, just put that question mark, or you just say, hey, that's cool.
Yeah,
cool. That's cool.
Kind of like when you look at a clock and it says like 2:22. I'm like, ding.
Yeah. That's your number? Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, my numbers. I have other numbers too. But I used to see that fucking time all the time. I'd look and I'd see the time I'm thinking of all the time. Yeah. Like the numbers I was thinking of. Like I felt the numbers of 144 were really big because that's kind of a Christian thing. 144,000. I don't want to trigger anybody. It's a very cultish thing when people really get into that shit. But I'd see the 144 all the time, you know, and I feel like that was delusional, but I don't know. It's like, is there a psychology there of like, if you think of these numbers, you're going to see them every time? Like,
More,
oh, I turned my
you're gonna be
head and
more
look,
aware of it. Yeah.
it's 144. Holy shit. Like all these things connect, you know, and you see the same numbers somewhere else. Or,
It's interesting. Like I remember being on the Sea Org routing outlines, and I remember seeing like same number, and I was like, "Whoa, what is that?"
Yeah, it's pretty wild. Yeah,
And
I
I
think
didn't
I
know if
do
it
get
was
a
like,
communication from it. I do find it useful. I
yeah,
found it
there's
in
something
my.
that's like whatever you're doing is what you're
At
doing right
times, I
now.
found it to be very significant, and I have other numbers too, and I kind of keep those numbers to myself because it's just
You
the
don't
way
want
it
to
is.
tell. You don't want to
Yeah,
let
you never
everybody
know,
think
you
about
know.
it.
I just keep it to myself. You know, I have a certain set of numbers, which is not 144, but it's been like pretty prominent. It's like
Yeah.
fucked up. It's fucked up. Like many different events have that same combination of numbers in whatever way, and
Yeah.
it's cool.
It's cool. I like stuff like that. And I like the human problem of needing to know the answer and
Yeah,
then watching
yeah,
everybody have to be like, it's just the way it is.
yeah.
And be
Well,
like, but
yeah,
why? It must
no
mean
shit.
something.
It's like the big question of, okay, if we're in a big bang, which we very well could be, I don't know, but what's on the other side of the ever-growing universe? Yeah, that's a fucking real question.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we don't know the answer to that. Theoretically, we have answers, but you know, there's a lot of answers that we do have as a society.
Right. And one
But
of
as
them
a
is
whole,
psychiatry, not
yeah,
Scientology. And science, not Scientology.
yeah, right,
Like
not
who literally
pseudoscience.
steals a word science, Scientology to make it
Oh
sound
yeah,
like it's official? Scientology.
yeah, man.
Insane.
Yep.
Insane. Everything about it. Lies, lies, lies. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I do love the fact of how much has been exposed. Anybody can see Tom Cruise's involvement with it. You know, his abuse of the Sea Org. You know, using the Sea Org for personal gain. You know, everyone can see this stuff, and it's great. The truth is out there. You know, I can only imagine Cruise has got to be thinking, "Fuck." Like his reputation's down, dude. He's shit.
And if he's not, it's because he is being hidden from all of the information, literally
Which
by
it's hard for me to
Scientologists and
believe
field
that, but if
work.
he's still
It
that
is hard,
way,
but
it's
they
like,
really, I mean,
wow,
like
bro.
they don't like, even when he goes on a big talk show, they literally say before they have the host and whoever, they're not allowed to talk about Scientology. They have things that they can, and if they do bring, they're
It's a penalty,
never,
a fine or something. Yeah.
totally, it will never be aired. That's the thing. They'll say you broke the
Thanks,
contract.
Tom
We're going to
Cruise,
sue
for
you.
being so
Right.
candid. You know, thanks for talking about your awesome religion that's saving the planet.
Mm-hmm.
Can't fucking
Yeah,
talk about it
the
because
thing that is like the most amazing thing that you can't talk about.
we're going to ask you, if I was interviewing you on TV, I'd say, so what was it like auditing your body thetans? Did you have any interesting ones? You know, like
Are
027
you
and
still
10.
working on your homosexual dating?
Hey, how did it feel when you hit OT8 and it said, "Oh, all that past lives, nah, they weren't real."
Yeah, you just made them up, and that's what
Sucker!
you've been doing in life all this time.
All that time and money, sucker! But you'll find out who you really are next time. Like, wow, man.
Mm-hmm.
Phew.
That is the whole process of Scientology, guys. Is they lie to you all the way up through the bridge
Yep.
and say you're going to fix all these things and these emotions and all these
It's all
thetans
just
and
data.
spirits attached to you, and you just got to be theta, 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 and get your spirit cleaned and all that. And then in the end, all these things you're, auditing off, you realize you're being told that this whole time you've just been mocking up all those things and mocking
Yeah, I was
up
gonna say
body
that,
thetans
which is
and
when
made up the
yeah,
whole thing, and now you
unreal,
just freed yourself, and that's OT8.
unfucking real.
Like
You
that
want
is
to talk
it.
about? Yeah,
And here
Hubbard
you had
created
people
the
dying
theta
and
crowd.
killing themselves because of this cult religion, Scientology,
Right.
literally, because they're not allowed to get proper medication, or they're exposing crimes and murders and rapes, and now they're getting attacked on a daily basis, like, because they can't unalive them, because then that would be too obvious. So instead, Scientology is just harassing and stalking and fucking interrogating and doing and just anything they can to blackmail somebody so that they just stop attacking Scientology or exposing Scientology. They take it as an attack, but it's not. That's how it feels when you expose pedophiles, rapists, murderers, child traffickers.
Oh yeah, man, you better bury that shit quick, right? Yeah, they panic. Oh, it's disgusting, man. You know, it's
full
true.
Panic mode, motherfuckers. Okay, well, Matthew, this was so fun, and again, we can do this. I feel like we should do this more often. I specifically would love to chat with you and your wife on the next one. That would be so fun.
Absolutely.
And we can go down rabbit holes.
Literally. Yeah.
That would be really fun. It's so informative.
Do you have a little time? I'm not sure. Do you have like maybe a few minutes? Because if anybody has any questions, I'd be glad to answer them.
Yeah,
if we have time for it.
Yeah, 100%.
Oh, cool.
I kind of, if anybody has any questions, yes, ask them now. Is there any questions? Is there anything you'd like to say or ask before I end this session? I thought I starred most of them.
Okay.
I mean, I just kind of popped them up as we were talking. Some. Yes, please, encore. They were saying encore.
That's cool.
Yes. Nice. Amazing conversation. Thank you guys. This was so great. What a mind fuck. Exactly. There are so many questions, but I think that when we talk and stuff, we answer them and we explain, what this is and things like that. A lot of it is Scientology language and lingo that sadly, when you start learning more about people's stories on YouTubes and things like this that have been inside the cult of Scientology, you start learning the language, because this is one of the techniques they use is the language.
That's a general cult rule. You create your own language.
Cult rule. Exactly. Yep. And so that's their number one. They got books and books and books of language, that's all they're all about. And keep the language in. Use the right word. Yeah. Don't say rape, say out 2D.
Man.
That's a big one. Like literally.
Yeah, it's sad. I guess I got it easy compared to some people,
No, there's no easy. It's all the same evil energy. So
it is.
We're all in it together. Yeah, literally. Yeah. Oh my God. Okay, well, Matthew, you're awesome.
Hey, thank you.
Everybody sub to the Holy Rogue on YouTube. We will definitely have another one soon.
Please, email me anytime and text me, whatever. That'd be great.
Thank you, Julie B. Thank you, Jody Q. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Ashley. Thank you, Hellaboard. Thank you, Haggis. Thank you, Scott. Thank you, Anne. Thank you, Witch Share. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
We love you. We love you. We love you. And thank you so much again, Holy Rogue.
Oh, thank you, man. Thank you.
We will all be jamming. We will all be hanging soon. Stay tuned for our next Down the Rabbit Hole chat discussion with the Holy Rogue and perhaps his wife. That will be really amazing.
Yeah, I'll post some music, because gotta have some music after this, some more jazz.
Yes.
I'll see what kind of music I'll put up.
On some jazz and let that mind just settle in. Until then, here you go.